He just went straight, he fell asleep.
Oh, Lord.
And hit right into a tree right next to the house.
Oh, it's,
And,
yeah,
and
it's
the owners
bad.
came out and said,
Yes,
he
yes,
gets
yes, you did,
3 or
yep.
4 of those a year.
It's bad in Freedom. It's really bad.
So this one is for $3,000.
Yeah,
I just
you
wanna
must have,
say-
cause I know Matt,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so awesome.
But he asked for
We got here.
these not to be
You should hand them out to everybody.
accessible because they custom
Did you get one?
show that they
Oh, okay.
Of course I got
I
one.
didn't add, like, I didn't email those.
They do.
Actually, out to
Yeah,
everybody.
I think Matt, when I was talking to Brian and I were talking.
Oh, I
he
just-
did say that it was the
you made it too easy.
I said,
Yeah.
we need to go with that, that's a great price. All right, 6 o'clock, I'd like to call Parks and Rec to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sherry?
Here.
Cheryl? David?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the April 11th, 2024 Parks and Recreation Committee meeting.
Sherry?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, so the first topic, let's talk about the Fund the Sun. Did you email that to everybody?
I emailed the
Okay.
quote, yes, not the breakdown.
Yep. So did everybody have a chance to see the quote that Katrina sent on the price for the fireworks?
I didn't.
So
Got it later.
there's 2 quotes, one's 3,000 and one's 5,000. The $5,000 one is a 15-minute show. Sounds like it's, for the extra $2,000, sounds like it's more significant than the $3,000 one.
Yes, they're bigger shells, more options, more of a bang for your finale kind of thing, is how we describe it.
Didn't that's what we paid last year?
That is what we paid last year.
Do we have the money to pay that?
So Katrina budgeted $10,000 for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Which
If
is
we
fun
use
and
less, that's great, cause then
Right.
we can roll over for
Yep.
next year, but.
Cool.
Where
Yeah.
they usually blow these off at?
Your backyard.
Yeah, right, exactly, into the
Oh,
field.
there's a
Main
lot of
Street,
field.
And
out
there's a
there.
lot of field
In
there.
the ball field, in the back. ball field,
Oh,
towards
okay,
that ball field.
okay.
Yep.
All I see is the agreement. Did we have the actual quote?
So
Oh,
I think that Matt just discussed the quote with us. A piece of it was, I
You
don't,
can pass these
Okay.
around if you want.
here's,
I just need these back. The
Because they're-
company has asked not to share and make the quotes public because they customize each quote individually for each individual event. So that's why the quote was not massively mailed out, but you guys can look at the difference.
The estimates are in there,
Yeah,
in what you sent, so.
and that's what you get for the
Oh,
price.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a significant difference, I think.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. And furnished for 5 minutes, I heard. What time did the fireworks start?
9:30, I think.
Would you say
Usually
9:30?
9:30.
Yeah,
9:30.
it's whenever it's
Yeah,
Gotta be
dark.
done.
Okay.
right. It was just getting dark about 9:30.
Right.
and this is the company too that has already contacted the fire chief too. So they already have like the permit process started. That's part of them organizing their quote and getting it together, so.
Okay.
When you said that chief received a call, it was from these people.
Okay.
Yeah, and he requested a copy of whichever one we go with. This one's the bigger one.
Mhm. I heard it just says 15 minutes.
Keith, I think the bigger show. I mean, for $2,000, I think we should go with more shots.
Well, and they give you the bigger shells too,
Yeah, I see there's
so,
a couple 16-inch shells,
yeah.
or 6-inch shells, so.
Do you wanna see?
Um,
You don't have to if you don't want.
you can underbid it and make your own.
Yeah, so thoughts,
$1 million insurance policy.
I like the larger package, that would be my vote.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree too, only because we haven't had anything since, you know, the fall thing was canceled, blah, blah, blah.
And the other thing is nice too is, like I said, the last meeting is, the Oxford does theirs on Friday,
Yes.
we'll have ours on Saturday, people might leave the Oxford early to come to our event,
Yes.
might help out,
Yeah.
so.
I agree with you.
15 minutes, that's
That's
a
a long
nice
time.
show,
It
yeah,
is.
that's a nice show.
That gets around from year to year.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything we need to do, Katrina, for you to
There's-
sign that?
Probably just make a motion to present it to council and give me authorization to sign the contract so we can lock in our date with them.
Okay.
Right now, we're on their calendar, but I'm sure as it gets closer,
Right,
they may start booking.
and I was reading that cancellation thing, and it's like 45 days out is like May 30th, so that's like now.
Well, they try
Soon.
not to they've never canceled a show unless they absolutely have to, because the amount of paperwork that
Oh.
legally they have to do to cancel a show is not worth it to them in the long
I
run.
think it was more meaning up for us to cancel, so if we, you know, if we wanted to take more time to find somebody else or something like that, but I just,
They do not like transporting shows.
yeah, I'm sure they don't. Okay.
Want me to make a motion?
Sounds
And if
right.
you want, or I can make a motion to accept the larger quote for $5,000 to send to the council meeting.
Second.
Should we do it then and now so we get it locked
Can we
in,
do it
or?
now, or?
We can. Either way, Charles will probably, when he does the legislation, he'll put it as a then and now,
Okay,
because we have to,
so we can get it locked in.
oh no, that's a different contract I'm thinking of, but yeah, so we can get it locked in.
Sounds
I
good.
don't
I'll
think they
second it.
need, was Scott second? You sure? You got a second, just wanted to parse it right.
Okay, I
So
second.
Sherry
Second
second.
one, that's right.
Sherry,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Chief, bouncy house.
We want, get everything you want, we can have as many as you want, drunk tank, everything, and I think he's even got side, like, games for kids, he just wants to know what we want, and I told him everything. And he needs a place to put the stuff up, so a grassy area for the bouncy houses, I don't know if that's behind the churches or where we're gonna have people park, or even if we gotta move it to the other side, like on the park, in the park. But
The one year we did it right here in the middle, by the, away from the fence, but in that,
okay, yeah, he's got a ridiculous amount of stuff. that
Who
he's-
is he?
Rick Hinkle,
Where is he out of?
from here.
From here?
Yeah.
Where is his business out of?
So he actually lives in Newton Falls, his
Okay.
kids are from here.
Okay.
He has a side business doing all this stuff, so he came in, he's offering it up to the school for the end of the year thing too.
So I would love to understand what carnival games he has. If he has like those carnival games that, we had talked about for some of
I
the older
think
kids.
some of them are, cause
Okay.
I will get with him and see if he's got a brochure or something.
Okay.
But he pretty much is gonna do it for nothing,
Fantastic.
because he's from here.
That's cool. So can you let me know that?
I will,
I wanna finalize the final flyer so that we can get those out there. So that way I can have all that stuff in there.
I will let you know by.
Okay, perfect. So everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, good, okay. So a couple things, I put one of these, or Cheryl for me, put one in everybody's see kind of some of the things been working on. So still, music, we need to figure that out, and I don't know if Mac was working on that or not, or if Ryan,
Ryan,
or.
something
yeah,
as well.
I haven't got nothing yet,
Okay.
I'll start on that though.
alright. And then, by any chance, does anyone know if, cause Marie normally does it, but I have not personally talked to her, about the Chinese auction. Normally she'll send letters out looking for donations.
I can talk to her tomorrow.
Okay. Right up here, I have on here, everybody need to sign the contract for the fireworks. I will reach out to Tom and Crystal Hickaman to see if their son and daughter-in-law still have a petting zoo.
If they don't, we can also, we have a kid that brings it to our night out,
Oh, okay,
where they've got the goats and the chickens.
okay, fantastic. Well, I'll follow up with them and then I'll reach out to you and let
Okay.
you know for sure. I confirmed with Brian Stanley, we're good for the poker tournament. I still need to get the, permit for the alcohol.
Where's the poker gonna be?
Well,
We gonna do it under tent from rental?
we're gonna try to do
or-
under our tent, that would be the plan, unless, of course, we have some type of weather condition, that would be the plan, cause that's what we did before and it worked out pretty well.
We
Go
also
ahead.
have the garage where we did chili
Yeah.
cook-off too.
That's true,
There's electric,
that's true, and that's a pretty big
Lights
space,
and-
that's
yeah.
probably not a bad idea,
and we won't need to take up the whole tent for a building that we already own.
Right. okay, no good idea.
Just got to talk to the village administrator.
So,
For the tournament, okay, I have that flyer ready here, so like I said, I confirmed with Brian Stanley today, so I have that flyer ready to post. Are you going to be able to get the road closed? Cause we talked about putting the car show out there for a period of time, okay.
That's the 20th, right?
we'll post it on our page and let ODOT know.
Okay, okay, and then I know the three of us talked and, the chairs and tables. I mentioned about reaching out to somebody, but somebody else said that there was somebody that they were gonna reach out to. Was it you or you?
I don't know, but we have a bunch of those fold-up
Oh, it was the
chairs.
one for the Legion. We were gonna get the number for whoever did the one at the Legion.
Oh,
Cause
yeah.
they said they were cheap.
Perfect.
Oh, Elizabeth, right, alright, Elizabeth. Is it Elizabeth or is her in-laws?
It's Elizabeth.
Okay,
I think, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
I just heard Durthic, so.
I'll make sure I find
Okay.
out. I'll make sure I find out.
okay. I again confirm that I do have some crafters, but of course we still need more. We need more crafters, we need more food trucks.
But that's difficult,
Huh?
getting them to answer and call
I know that.
back and-
Trust me, I do it on my phone. I email people, yeah.
I've emailed and called people and have not received anything back.
So you got the websites I went through for the food trucks the 1 year, that's the only way they call you back, and I found that they're booked 2 years in advance.
Right,
Yeah.
especially during first fair,
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
I
season
know.
and the ox roast is going on, so it's gonna be,
so.
Alright, well, we'll need to still continue to work.
Would,
Do you have the Lions Club already down?
would Stony's be interested in?
I'll have to talk to Lisa, I haven't talked to her.
Kind of like Domino's does for the.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Which Lisa has participated before.
Yeah,
Um,
we could have, Domino's, they have the carriers, so like if you get pizza there, they'll let you have the carriers, like 2 or 3 of them. Then if you need more, you take them back.
Let me confirm with Lisa
Yeah.
first, cause I don't wanna, if she's coming then.
I'm not saying
No, I know.
bad about Stoney's.
No, I know, you're not.
Go to Stoney's all the time. Yeah, the local.
I know Subway reached out to us too for the night out, saying that they would give up, for whatever we purchased, they would double it. So if there's something like that, if we don't get the vendors out there or something, if we wanna try that.
Sure. And then we talked about a rib cook-off, and I don't know if there's anybody who wants to take the ownership on that, but I've got too much on my plate, so I don't want to do that. So think about it for anybody who wants to do that. I have created this flyer for the car show. I'll add more details to it and then email it out to everybody. I wanna put on there what the prizes are going to be. And I don't know if there's other things that I need to add to it or not, I really don't know about it, but. We are having a hot dog eating contest and T&B Excavating is going to sponsor that, event. So we have that completed already. We have all the churches in Windham are getting together, and they're going to have an area set up where they're gonna sponsor all of the kids' games that are 6 and under. I think I talked about that already.
Oh, that's cool.
Pressure for you guys.
Yeah,
The
that's
Lions
good.
Club is, they're gonna set up the steak stand, and then also, again, that cheese sandwich food truck that I shared with you guys about a month ago. So from that fun in the sun, that's the only updates I have on that. Anybody else have anything?
If I can get the car flyer, I'll get into the Akron Car Club in the county.
Okay,
I started looking at games and stuff online, seeing what we could
for
get.
kids older than 6, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know there was an age limit now, but now I do, so
Well, that's
that's
just-
good, that narrows it down for me, so that's fine, it's great.
What'd you say? Or you said about getting it out to like,
Oh, the Akron and Canton Car Clubs,
okay,
they usually travel well.
We do have some gift cards that we received for the Fall Fest. I don't remember how much and exactly what we have. They're in my office, but I'll let you know. I don't know what you guys want to do
So-
with them.
we do like typically like a Chinese auction,
Okay.
and we have people donate baskets and stuff, and we kinda do that.
We did receive something from, I don't know if it's Ohio State or something
Okay.
too, like not memorabilia, but I don't remember what it was. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called now. But there is a couple things in there, not a lot, but.
That's okay, we can always add to it. I think that is all I have, so. At 6:16, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn Parks and Rec.
I'll second.
Sherry,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
All right. I'd like to call, a call to order Committee of the Whole.
A
Scott,
second.
oh, sorry,
It's okay.
Marilyn,
I'll-
second,
Yeah.
Scott,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
And we have a guest speaker, Adam?
Yes. Adam is here. Adam's been helping do some of the tech stuff over at the police department. He works for the police department. He also has an IT job. I'll let him explain what he does on the side. But after he had been looking at what we have here and diagnosed everything that we have, we've been talking about servers for years, and CGB's been trying to sell us servers and everything else. And they've been using us on an à la carte basis for $160 an hour, which is kind of ridiculous. Adam's been doing some of the stuff, and I've just been paying him his hourly wage when he does do stuff for us. I'm holding his commission for that purpose, and we're kind of working through the system that way. He's here to talk to you about transitioning everything from the servers to what it is we need to move forward from here and to move to the police department, and also has a backup service for the phones for CGB, because CGB is, they're overcharging us pretty much on everything. So I told him if he were gonna take over the tech stuff, that we would want a backup in case he should die or something happened to him, knock on wood, that there would be somebody there. And the company that he works with is out of Kent on Water Street, and they're more local than CGB. And I think it just makes more sense. Right now, if we put a ticket in for CGB, it's taken 2 weeks for us to get the turnaround on that. So, he can give you a little bit more background on what he does and what it is that we need here. I thought it would be helpful for him to talk.
Sure, so, currently, I work as a programmer in a company called North Coast Media. I have a background in network administration. That's where I got my start, was the hardware side. I've been in IT for some capacity for almost my entire life, except when I enlisted and then decided to go to the police academy. situation that I've looked at with the stuff in the rack over there, and hearing what CGB, and seeing the quote that CGB provided to the chief for new hardware, it is a lot of money, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, for a couple reasons. The PD server is really just a glorified hard drive at this point. It's just around to hold backups of video files, and the other server, utility server, there's just a couple of things running on it, and even though CGB is trying to create a sense of urgency, saying your servers are old, you need new ones, yes, they're old, but they're designed to run a long time. So them needing an end of life, that's not a concern. The concern is they're trying to sell something that Village just doesn't need. So I think the best course of action is to, and we've already started this with the implementation of Microsoft 365, move things to a cloud-based offering, instead of having stuff on a physical server, because things happen, hard drives go bad, and as CGB has demonstrated with not executing their backups, I don't know what their backup policy is, I don't know if they have one, but they haven't been, if there is one, they haven't been backing anything up from those machines, and the backups that are happening is, you know, when Chief or Addy moves something off the server and onto an external hard drive. So, with the new building going in, phones are going to need to be set up, and that kind of segues into transitioning from CGB. If nothing else for the phones, there's a company out of Kent, I know a couple of people that work there or have worked there. It's called Quality IP. They worked with Ravenna, they work with City of Kent. I think they do Brimfield as well for their municipal stuff. I think Ravenna's on a more cohesive managed services encompassing all of their IT and all of their phones. But they have experience working with local governments, and local governments, like literally they're all over Europe. I don't know if they do Garrettsville, I think they mentioned they do Garrettsville as well. But Quality IP can take over managing the phones, it could take over setting up phones in the new building if necessary, and with my experience in trying to work with CGB, they really didn't want to work with me. They wanted to, you know, get that $160 per hour service charge. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that's just how they operate. But in talking with one of my contacts at Quality IP, their approach is budget conscious, because since they work with municipalities, they know that everyone's got a different budget. Some people just want to hand everything off to them. Some people don't want to do that. Some places don't have an unlimited amount of funds to be able to do that. So that's where Chief mentioned having them as a backup for me comes in. The way that, and I'll get some more concrete information, see if we can get Quality IP on a call with myself and the Chief as well, to go over a more defined scope of services from them. But basically how it would work is, if, let's say, something goes on with the phones, and if they send somebody out for a service call, it's going to be a $200 on-site service fee. Or if I can come out and they talk me through something, then it's a 15-minute call over the phone, which they bill in 15-minute blocks. And then I'm out here instead of them being on site to either physically patch some stuff in if they need some different software configurations to happen. I will admit, VoIP is not my forte, but at the end of the day, it's network cables and plugging stuff in where it needs to go. So if something like that needs to happen, then I can basically be their, you know, their hands out here. Instead of having them come out, you put a ticket in, and there's a 24, 48-hour on-site service turnaround. I'm only in my office a couple days a week, which is Monday and Wednesday, so every other day, doesn't matter if it's nights or weekends, something needs done, I can come out. And I just live in Kent as well, so I'm not that far away.
The longest it's taken is 24 hours, and he had an issue with a medical issue, so.
Yeah.
From what I can speak for him is that the things that I've kind of, before I did it, I kind of vetted it and ran it through CGB and him to see if I was getting the same answers on what some of the security stuff was and what we have to do, and I got the same exact answers from Adam as I did from CGB. And then talking with some people I know in the industry, and he's talked with some people, CGB does not have the greatest reputation right now. They're pretty much leaving everybody a la carte and then taking we had one ticket that was out 2 weeks, and then they sent it back saying, what are you gonna do with this? And they're sending all the tickets to me for some reason. If Katrina puts one in, I'm getting something about, and I don't even know what it's about. So I think in the long run, if we went to this, at least for the move, we could see how well that goes and then transition from there. But the VoIP service from Kent is local and said that they would work through him instead of having us use them and do the rate that way, which makes more sense, because the minute we call CGB, it's $160 for the ticket. They charge us for the drive down from Cleveland. They charge us for the work they do here. They upsold us $500 on the computer that they put in Marie's office. There's just a lot that I've noticed that we could probably cut out with the implementation of getting him here. And I told him already, I don't want him to be in a position where he says, hey, I'm moving to Florida next week and we don't have a backup. So we gotta have a backup plan in place if we were to go do that. And that is that company in Kent. They do IT stuff too, so.
Yeah, so my idea would be for them to take over the phones exclusively, and then, they're basically a one-stop shop. They can do managed IT services, whether it's physical server administration, cloud server, somewhere in between. They're a Microsoft partner, so if there's anything that goes on with the 365 account, then they have a much shorter line to any sort of Microsoft-based tech if 365 needs some troubleshooting, which it did, to get the utilities email account set up to send emails through the CMI software.
He was able to do that.
Yeah, so I said, it took a couple hours talking to Microsoft support, but where it was 3 hours of my time instead of 3 hours of CGB's time, it's like, save $500-600 by not having them have to deal with it. And then and it seems like their communication isn't awesome. And I forget his name.
Brian.
He was out installing his computer, and I was trying to get some information about the server configuration, what software is running. If it was, I couldn't get any information out of him that was very helpful. So
currently on our server, we have 2 programs running, that's CMI and Badger. And those are running on the server itself, but they don't take up a bunch of space. So if we transitioned out of the servers into a standalone computer, that would be enough to support the CMI and the Badger. I think you gotta have Windows 2008 for the CMI software or Badger.
how many is Windows 7?
Windows 7.
I think Windows 7
CMI
for
is.
Badger.
I think CMI is.
Yeah, it's one or the other, yeah, but he was able to do it on a standalone at his house and make it work, because the desktops are way more powerful than they were when we put those in 10 years ago. So,
And despite what CGB says, you don't need a server from Dell or HP or an enterprise-grade piece of hardware to run the server software for CMI or Badger. It can be a halfway decent PC, it's really all you need.
If we switch our phones, do we own the phone number, or can we switch our phone numbers?
We own the phone system itself.
Okay,
So what they did was, they came in, set up the voice over internet, because we had the old standard phone system. I think we're even are we out of contract with them now on that, Katrina?
I don't know, that was pre-made, I've never seen the contract.
I think it was only for 3 years, and I think it's gone, so they've been doing that on an à la carte basis as well. So if we wanna call and switch the mayor's name, or switch a greeting, or do, CGB does all that for us, and it's costing us a considerable amount of money. And I don't know why we can't have the capabilities to do that ourselves, or just call him and have him do it on that side of using the backup as the guys out of Kent. It just seems more fiscally responsible and feasible, and, I mean, the transition will tell us everything, because the only two, like I said, programs that aren't vendor sponsored and saved in the cloud are CMI and Patcher. So, and those are important, because they're the ones that give us the sewer and the water bills. So we wanna make sure those are working and they are doing well. So he did on his own a little side project to see if those programs would be supported without using that server, and they stood up. So, with that being said, we could leave this in place and stand up another one and start using it and see if there's gonna be any issues, and it's gonna be way cheaper than CGB.
and then, second question, does the emails fall under this? Or,
So your emails right now are governed out of whoever runs the website. However, I did establish a .gov for the city and,
That's
or the
what I mean.
village. I can give everybody in here a .gov email address, it's $6.95 a month. And that will give us the one source capabilities to be able to share information between different groups that we would have with a server in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
to
is it
everybody?
$6.99 a person or $6.99 total?
It's $6.95 a person per month. Which is, I think we're paying close to that for our emails on the website currently.
I think we might be paying a little bit more, but I don't know the exact number.
I think it's a great idea. At least to try, especially with the money we're spending now.
I mean, we spent like $4,000 last year on absolutely nothing but time.
I will say, as far as the email side of it, one concern that Maria and I have is losing everything we've done in the past, because we both refer back to,
Mhm.
like, I'm still looking stuff up of what Lloyd, if I can find it, or Cherie did for new, stuff I've never done before, and Marie kinda does the same thing.
So can you keep both?
Well, if you're keeping both, we might as well just stay with where we're at, cause we don't have to have a .gov, we've never ran into that issue, like you guys do.
Can we back it up?
Probably. What email clients do the .com run through?
They
She's
run through
not-
GoDaddy,
Okay, I figured.
so,
Are you accessing it through the web?
yes.
I haven't used GoDaddy's email in a while. Should be able to back up and then import it to a new account. I'll do some research on it and find out for sure.
Perfect, thank you.
It's good to have a .gov because if you're gonna get secure emails, the federal government requires the .gov or at least the .com. So either way, we're gonna have to pay for one or the other. .gov for us gets us subpoenas, and we can talk to other law enforcement jurisdictions with it, so.
And that's another point. I can't speak to GoDaddy's security compliance, but 365 complies with federal regulations and state regulations.
I was gonna ask if 365 is secure.
Yes. By default, it's not like you have to be on a special tier, it just is.
So everything in the cloud will be secure. now.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's secure as long as no one makes the password. A little bit of good password hygiene.
Password
probably-
1, 2, 3?
Yeah. Put an asterisk on the end.
Yeah.
you're good. But,
Thank you.
yeah, it's secured, and Chief's initial concern was, well, if you don't have a physical server with all of your stuff on this physical server, and everything's moving to the cloud. The cloud is just someone else's computer, it's a server. The cloud is a fancy term for server, it just doesn't happen to be on site. So, you don't have to worry about upgrades, you don't have to worry about backups. There's no, if power goes out here, like I know it has in the past, the UPSs that are plugged in, the servers are plugged into now are shot. And they're supposed to, when the power comes back on, automatically trigger the server to come back on if it does lose power, and it doesn't do that. So there's a lot of reasons for moving away from physical hardware, especially for what it's doing. If the CMI and batch software move to a physical computer somewhere here in the village, like I said, it doesn't need to be anything beefy. A modest backup, battery backup would be fine for it, or it could even move to a cloud server. Either way, it's not difficult to move that to a cloud-based server, or a cloud-based desktop as well, so it's easy enough to do.
The only thing we have that is of urgent right now is I was told by CGB that our firewall is expired or expiring, and that we have to purchase a new firewall or renew the certificate, which the renewal is as much as a brand new firewall. So
That unfortunately is 100% legit, that's true.
So where we're at is, I'm gonna have to have one for the building, so I wanted to see if you guys wanted to go ahead and get that firewall for here and have Adam set it up, since if we're gonna move towards him, have him work with CGB to set the firewall up so that we have the credentials and not CGB in the future.
Will they allow you to do that? You said you were asking that guy questions about our current stuff, and he wasn't answering.
Right.
We own our stuff.
So they have to, they can't hold our stuff hostage. I'm sure,
It's a concern though that,
yeah, and it's not gonna be easy to get the information out of them, they're not gonna give it up, but legally they are obligated to do so.
Okay, wonderful.
I've run into that situation before, when someone's in fear of losing money, they don't like to give up easily, so.
we've been kind of a cash cow.
Yeah, I'm not an IT person. That's not my specialty, just like everybody else has their specialties. I'm gonna trust what you have to say over anybody else, so my recommendation is go with what he says.
And I've been vetting, honestly, for about 6 months, 7 months, I've been vetting his knowledge. He used to work at Neomed, and Neomed gets rid of all their old stuff. He can take it, refurbish it, and use it. And a lot of the stuff we're gonna use at the new police department's refurbished stuff that he took from Neomed, that's not gonna cost us anything.
He
took it,
were you giving it?
Yes.
Okay, you said took.
No. So they throw it away, they give it away.
Okay.
He asked.
Yeah, they pay a recycling company to take away perfectly good hardware, so, any desktops.
He got permission.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, but
Clarify
we
that.
put a $15 Bluetooth card in these things, and they're as good as buying desktops for everybody here,
Yeah.
so.
So
So
would
what
we
would you-
hire Adam as a contractor then, or?
That would be a discussion you guys wanna have. I don't know, I haven't asked Adam if he just wants to do this and stay on, as, like, I can keep your commission, you can do this on as a part of the commission and put these towards your hours each month and do the CPTs, or how would you wanna do that?
Yeah,
And just keep you on the pay, and whenever you do IT stuff, I'll pay you through the police department.
Just
I'll
like,
just bill, yeah,
just like a vendor.
yeah.
I'm okay with that as long as Charles is okay with that.
Right.
Right.
So what do we have to do on our end?
We'll just do the legislation to hire him. He's gonna be through the police department at our salary, and he's gonna do it on an as-needed basis, which isn't that much, once it's set up. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit to set it up. He's already been over in the building doing some of the wire and the hookups over there. So it'll just be the transition, and then we gotta look at that phone connection, because we are gonna have to take part of the phone system over there, and what I do wanna be able to keep is the dial 223 or 221 to get Marie or them quickly and not have to dial a whole 7-digit number, so that we keep the inner office stuff all inside.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the nice thing about the VoIP is
and I don't think we all use it that much, but we could give everybody in here an extension number, and you guys can get voicemails that will go to your email, so that you always are able to be reached, and they don't have to always have your cell phone.
I would like to ask Charles about it, I just don't know if there's a conflict with you being not that there's anything wrong. We're paying you for police work, but you're a contractor, IT work. So I'd rather separate them, that way we know where the money's going, you know what I mean, when we
Absolutely.
look at the budget and stuff like that we know we used you as a contractor for this or that.
That works better for me, for
I
my
think it's
budget.
probably a better idea, that's just my
It still
opinion.
comes out of your
Well,
budget.
also,
I like that.
liability reasons too, I just wanna make sure everything's covered.
Mhm.
So, not saying you would, but in 5 years, you decide to go AWOL and raise all our stuff, make sure that we're covered. You know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah, I can draft up the contract, like boilerplate contract about data retention and, whatnot, so, no problem.
I'll put them
I've
in
done it before.
contact with Chuck, and they can discuss it.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, motion to approve the April 11th, 2024 Committee of the Whole minutes.
I have amendments.
Okay. What, you accept with amendments?
Yes.
I second that if it's typos. I
Yes.
saw them too.
Yes.
Marilyn, you second?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Cheryl? Terry?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, any old business?
The website, I know we talk about this a lot, but are we gonna work on getting this old stuff brought up to date? I had a resident ask me that just this morning at the gas pump.
Well, so I had a person from regional planning call me or email me and Ryan and asked for meeting notes from a year ago that they needed in order to do something with submitting a grant. So I have no idea, I don't know what the person that's updating him is, I don't know what he's telling you,
Well, it depends
Katrina.
on what year you guys are looking for.
This was 2023,
Well, what is it this?
September, they needed the meeting notes from
The votes or
they needed the notes, right?
Minutes.
Minutes, in the minutes, yeah.
the minutes are up there.
Well, this
From
was
September.
September 13th, I think it was. Other ones, yes, that was not,
But
cause I went in and looked myself.
that was a committee meeting.
Yeah, that
Was
wasn't
it?
a committee,
Yeah.
so.
And we don't put
committee
those on
does
there?
not go up
Okay.
there, only the council minutes.
Okay,
So if they need committee minutes, then,
well, Terry was able to give them to me,
Yeah, I found mine, so
Okay.
they got it.
okay.
and I don't know
Wasn't
what,
very much
you-
on it, so.
yeah, there was something she needed on it, I don't know
Yeah,
what, but,
didn't
well,
know.
they attended it.
That's right.
Regional
yeah.
planning attended it, and they needed proof that they attended, I think.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what it
okay,
was.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause Jamie was doing the minutes at that time.
And I don't know what you have to do.
If you're talking about like the older stuff before me, I
No, that's
Don't
September
know where that is,
23,
so,
That's
or
when they,
22. It was 22, so you weren't even here.
no.
So we do not have a record of it at all?
I had it.
This was, it was 23,
No, you.
but he's talking about something different, he's talking about,
Like our resolutions, ordinances and stuff like that, like you said you couldn't find them, but I just wanna know like, can we get them?
Committee meetings, I'd have no idea.
I'm just talking
Just
about.
in general, I think he's
Yeah.
talking general.
Yeah, I think he's talking about everything from 22.
And then some of 21 and stuff like that, just.
Yeah.
It's all blank on the list. You said
We
you
have-
would have them.
The ordinance we haven't had any since before Sheree left. That was given to us to put in the ordinance book.
Right.
So if we just kept it, when we got them here, that's where we have them, so I don't know after that.
That's
But-
gonna be a nightmare.
the only
That
person
is
that
an-
would
it is
have
an-
that is gonna be the solicitor. Cause he had to
Maybe.
write it,
Yeah, we
He
could,
is not required to keep that stuff, so
I
he may
wonder-
not have it.
wonder if they were sending an email.
Who,
It had been emailed over.
But she,
Who do we have that updates the pages?
We have a company that we use
They should be the ones that.
that sends us those.
No, that they're not the one.
For the books,
We have an
No,
updated
you're
one.
talking about something different than what they're talking about. They're
I'm
talking about,
the updated ordinances and the resolutions.
they're talking about the website.
Yeah, but
It's
those
the
are
same thing.
what I put on the
It's the
website,
same thing.
is what I'm talking about.
But no,
We
it's
don't
not
have
the
one
same
with
thing because
resolution.
they're two different people. You have MDI who does the website, and then you have a totally separate company who keeps the ordinance posted on a separate website. So the information is actually being sent to two separate people. So you have, I believe it, what is it, legal something?
Strain, I thought.
Hang on, I can tell you, cause I have it saved on my.
I think what you're trying to say is that they would have what we sent them in the past to give to us for our books, and that's an easy way
If
of getting
they
it.
have what you have done in the past, then it would be on their website. And I'm saying they do not have a lot of what you guys have because they asked me for it and I don't have it.
Who asked you for it?
The company, the
Sheree
legal,
used to just give us a packet.
Yeah,
Yes,
And
that
it would
came
say
from-
replace page 534.
So where she got it from?
American legal,
Yeah,
Right, and that's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
yes.
which the only way they get that is when I or whoever is in this position sends it to them. So if that information was never sent to them, which I don't know because I wasn't here, then they don't have it, so you can't go to them to get that information. Same thing with the website, the village.com website. If it's not there, it's because it wasn't actually sent to
Well, I
somebody.
think then what we need to do is find out whether they have it or not, and then get it to them, so that.
If they
we can
had it,
update
it would be on the website.
But, okay,
If
but
it's
if they
not.
don't have it, then we'll have to find and give it to them so that they do have it, so that we can update everything.
yeah.
We
Either
could-
way,
we could find it.
Tom would have had to
Yes.
send an email with the legislation
So
to
to-
somebody. He didn't
to-
hand deliver them each time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tom-
to
So
the
it should
fiscal
be-
officer's email, I
Correct.
would
So
guess,
there's an
right?
email
But they
chain
lost
somewhere.
a lot of emails,
Oh, did they?
yes. They lost
Well-
a ton of emails before I came in because something happened with the email. Marie lost it, everybody that had an email.
No, the solicitor should
Lost
be,
it.
should
He
have
should
the
still
emails.
have it, he should still have what he
So
sent.
Tom should be able to go back and search
And his
Windham.
send anyways.
Yeah.
Well, he can go back and search some, but legally, he's not responsible for keeping that. It is the village and the municipality
Well,
itself, so.
I get that, but I think it's something that we gotta take care of, I think it's something that needs to be updated.
I can look at my stuff at home too. Ordinances, I didn't keep resolutions, but I kept ordinances.
I have to talk with Chuck this week, so I'll just ask Chuck if he, any way he can research looking back.
It
I'm
might be-
sure Tom was he kept everything.
Because essentially, if we don't have a record of it, it never happened.
I'll check all the ordinances I have that's not in my book.
Okay.
Give another question.
But,
But what?
well, you don't know, I don't know.
The only reasonable solution to this is there's one person that sent the stuff to everybody, and that was the solicitor.
Mhm.
And we went through one part-time fiscal officer, and then Cherie, and now Katrina, so Marie, we might be able to search back through her emails to find stuff.
Marie wouldn't have got the
Katrina's
rest, she
saying that
wouldn't
there
have
was
got that though.
a period of time where a bunch of emails were
Yeah.
lost.
Which is
We went
for,
to Sheree
gone.
back home.
Yeah,
yeah,
it would've
and-
been Sheree and,
yeah, so the only person we can really go to is the solicitor,
Yeah.
to hope he maintains something.
I'm sure they did legally, they would probably, they're, I don't know.
I'll ask Chuck to ask Tom, because Tom's still part-time.
Oh, okay.
He had to wait 60 days, but he's still in the office.
Oh, is he, okay,
So,
That's all I have under old business.
alright. Alright, council president's report, just, the only thing I have is the flowers will be ready on the 24th of May, so we will have them available to be hanging, for the parade. And, go ahead.
We putting up the, pictures of those 6 guys that
There
died.
we
Are they up?
Yeah.
I haven't been down this
go.
road.
Robbie and Tony put them up
Okay.
on Friday.
And some flags.
Okay.
Right.
I
don't know
in the
about flags.
cemetery, there's.
Robbie and Tony put those up on Friday.
Yeah. Are you flags too?
Uh,
Did we get flags?
Yeah,
I bought,
Brandon.
I got all new flags, they just come in, I think today, Katrina, was it today?
No, they came in over the weekend.
Well, we have them.
Okay.
New
So the-
flags, I went a size bigger, instead of getting the three fives, I got 4 6s with new poles,
Are they going down Center Street?
well, I bought 30 of them,
Okay, so
so
Center
we
Street
can
is.
put some down, yeah. I think they're gonna look real nice, I'm kinda excited.
Yeah.
Alright, under mayor's communication, do you wanna talk about the quote for the basketball court? Matt said you would know about it, I only seen the email from him with the quote. I didn't know if he was planning on wanting to fund that, or if he was planning on trying to get a grant, or I wasn't sure what his thought, what he was thinking. He said you would know. I know it was for $56,000 for the basketball court, and I don't know what the additional
Yeah,
20,000.
we're not gonna be able to fund it, we'd
He
have to
wasn't-
find some grant money or whatever. But I was gonna get a hold and see if I can get a second.
I honestly feel like that's a good quote.
Yeah. It's true.
Okay, so under mayor's communication, Mac had, and I don't know if you were part of it, Ryan, but he has, went out and he has a quote for, the new basketball court. I think it was like $56,000, and then other pavement too that he wanted to.
Yeah, we was, talking about maybe chip sealing the community center parking lot, and maybe chip sealing the, wastewater driveway.
How do you chip seal gravel? Isn't chip seal usually put over pavement?
Yes.
Well,
I don't
yeah, but
know.
it's gravel with,
Yeah, but on top of a hard surface, right?
well, it's similar surface.
I'm not being smart, I
No,
don't,
I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
Hey, I'm not a road guy
I'm
either.
not
It's
either,
all
I just know when I
surface.
drive down the road, they chip seal, it's usually over asphalt.
Yeah,
True.
I don't know why it wouldn't work.
Usually it's over a hard stone base.
Hard compacted
Yeah.
surface. So,
Like in the townships in Stark County, they would put them over the grass. They would do a gravel road chip
Oh, okay.
seal.
okay.
Cause it's basically asphalt with gravel in it.
Yeah, it's tar and gravel.
Right. So,
The basketball court, where's it gonna be?
So the basketball court is actually, in total, the bid is $51,697. It looks like the baseball field is 19,000, and for the basketball court is 31,800. Oh, one quote
Or the
from,
Renaissance, or
no, from the paving,
well, it sounds like it's for here.
it was,
no, it's for here.
oh, for the park here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are they doing to the baseball field?
That'd be the community center.
That's the
parking lot.
single chip seal, double liquid
Basketball.
APP.
Oh. I see.
You understand that?
I thought you said a baseball field that we were doing.
Well, that's what he's saying, it says baseball.
Like a
field.
basketball court and a baseball
Yeah,
field.
he meant basketball.
There's two basketballs. There's
One's the
there's two
community
quotes. One is a baseball field, one is a basketball court.
Yeah, so the baseball field would be the community center.
Okay.
The high-
Oh, the high school, okay, yep,
Yeah,
that's
Two
20,000, and then this one's 31,000. So it's on
Okay.
one, but
What's,
two.
what's
Okay.
being done at the basketball?
I think it's a whole new, it's
Yeah,
like the
repaved.
asphalt concrete
Whole repaved,
surface,
yeah.
yep.
yeah, get it
Very
repaved.
nice.
Yeah.
We was gonna do it before, remember, we got a pretty good quote from Jason, but I think Debbie wanted to stick with the green. And the green's very expensive.
I mean, at
Black
this point,
is
who
fine.
cares about color?
Yeah,
Right,
I
Just
don't,
right.
Get something,
I
in there
don't,
so kids can get on it.
Right,
yeah,
The cracks now are
Yeah,
They
they're
are.
big, there's where somebody
They
could get
are.
hurt.
that's a lawsuit waiting
Yeah,
to happen
yeah.
for the village.
Yes, ma'am.
Have they been looking in the sidewalk kind of grants?
I have not heard anything back from them on it, Cheryl.
I
I know it's frustrating, it just takes time, they only move it, and it's only at a certain time of year that it happens, it takes some months sometimes, but I know you're frustrated, but,
Some of it is.
I just don't, in regards to that, I don't know where we get the money to just,
well, I think it would be a grant.
Yeah.
I think it would be a grant, so at least now we have the quote, we can reach out to regional planning, although I haven't heard anything back from them in a while, so.
So with that being 50, unless Ohio State changed their rule, we would have to bid that out.
Right.
or
Well,
we
it's two different, so even if
But if
it's,
you're getting them under one quote, I think
Okay,
you still have
okay,
to bid it
okay.
out. Just like you can't break off, we're making repairs to this building, you can't subcontract to different contractors. But by the time we get a grant, Ohio might fix that, cause they were
Or-
supposed to change it to that 75,
Oh,
but they
okay.
passed it up for the
Okay.
village.
okay,
Tom never said that they did fix it, so I don't know if that
okay,
was fixed, so just kinda keep that in mind before we
okay, good point.
totally jump on it.
Absolutely. All right, utilities, Scott Garrett.
We have, possible use of ARPA money to purchase the security system upgrade equipment. What kind of amount are we looking at for that?
Well, based on the quotes that you guys all got, those 3 quotes we got, I mean, I don't know if we can do the whole thing, cause I was reading through the requirements for the ARPA money, and it mentions the water and sewer department security. So I've reached out to them to make sure that this falls underneath that category and we can use it to upgrade our security at the water and the sewer plant. So I don't think we'd be able to use it for a community center, you know,
Right, right.
or here. But, for the water plant, based on the quotes that Ryan had given everybody, it was about $6,718 for water. And then $2,739 for the wastewater. Or no, I'm sorry, $3,979 for water, $2,739 for wastewater. So possibly use $6,718 of ARPA to help kind of cover that. I know it's not a lot, but
Okay.
if we could use that to cover it a little bit, that would be the way. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna take the state to actually get back to me, to tell me, yeah, that's a go, but, I mean, it literally says, you know, security in their pamphlet that they sent out to all the fiscal officers, so.
That
did,
was-
sorry.
I was gonna say, I think that was an agreement, was that you could upgrade your security around, technically sewer and water are called critical infrastructure.
Right.
Right.
So you're allowed to use it for critical infrastructure.
Thought I saw on there that you had to put fencing around both and have them under lock and cameras and all that,
Yeah.
so.
But so that was a thought to kind of.
So what do we have to do to get that going?
I'll have to, I believe we just kind of do the same thing we were trying to do for the police lockers and the bathroom. Charles just makes a legislation saying authorized use of ARPA, this is why. He lists the section of how it relates to the ARPA money for the rules that they gave us, and then you guys approve to do that.
The fallback is you're gonna pay for it anyway, so it either comes out of the general or the funds, or it ARPA covers it, so there's no real,
Right.
There's no
Lost.
downside,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's just a matter of where I'm pulling the money from, because you guys already approved to move forward with that.
Right.
So,
So after we use that money, how much do we have, will we approximately have left in the ARPA funds?
about 60, I think. About 60,000.
And it has to be spent by,
We have to have it allocated by the end of this year.
which I thought.
Can that be for like any water, wastewater project?
I was wondering about,
Can we use it for the filters?
I think that's what I asked last meeting, was if we could use it.
Because that
For the
one
water,
quote's
sewer.
$80,000, we would save $60,000, we could put 20. We'd be at 40,000 counting the overflow that we already approved.
That,
And then 20,000 for the new filter to see if it.
or did we look into see if we could even use them for the cruisers or anything? I mean, there's so many different things that
well, I was
we are
thinking
buying.
about meters.
I don't,
Meters.
I'm
Oh,
already
that's
trying to
fine.
get an answer on that one too. I just have to wait for the state to get back to me.
For the meters.
Yes, it says nothing about meters anywhere.
I'm
So,
still
the
waiting on
easiest, the easiest thing to spend the ARPA money on, honestly, is germ-related stuff.
Yeah.
Your showers, your lockers, anything COVID-related, HVAC system, those kind of things.
You say germs in that, having the 2 new cruisers, could that qualify since you're not putting officers in the same cars
So they
constantly?
tried that originally, I don't know
Yeah,
if
I don't
they've
think
loosened
that-
up on that.
I'd be
but
surprised if
originally-
that
Yeah,
fell within the
they-
category, just,
Yeah,
When it
originally
first
they
came
said
out,
no,
They did,
cause we tried that.
Yeah.
During 2020 and they said no.
yeah,
They bought, some places bought them under that auspices and they wound up having to reimburse
right.
the ARPA funds. So,
Ryan, did you get any, headway? The guy came in and spoke to us about, looking at a grant.
Yeah,
filters.
we just have to figure out what we wanna do as far as using his engineering.
did he want a we would have to do some kind of contract with him?
Well, it's gonna be a case by case, so every project is gonna be a price. So if that's what you guys wanna do, most of it is, like if he writes us a grant, they'll find it, and then that money his fee will come out of the grant.
Right,
So if that's what you guys wanna do, we just sign it and then we start moving forward.
yeah, cause we gotta get something going on with those filters.
Right,
So who could we call it, or get a hold of for ARPA to figure out the question about the filters, or?
It's a waiting game. They give you an email. And I've already sent the email. And I've watched multiple classes and nobody answers it.
Do you have, an email for the filters?
Not for the filters,
Okay.
no.
Is that something we wanna look into to see if the filters would fall within that category? I mean, I would think from a health perspective,
Yeah.
they would.
I think
What
we-
were we talking
But I
about
don't know.
money wise, just to come in and repair?
80,000.
90, well, not to exceed, well, his price is not to exceed 20. He doesn't know, he said he didn't think it'd be that, but that's for both filters. And then,
You talking about the engineering costs?
right, yeah, because it's gotta be approved by the EPA and all that's gotta be submitted.
Right,
And then we just had a meeting, me, Bill, the manufacturer, there was like 5 of us that come down, and, I asked him about the warranty. He's like, well, what kind of warranty you want? I was like, well, we want lifetime. And they laughed, but they said they would guarantee their workmanship. So like what they wanna do is they wanna lift that thing completely up and plate the bottom and redo all the welds. And they said if those welds ever rust, they'll come back out and fix it. So then the second one, they asked about that. And I thought it'd be a good idea to wait like 6 months at least, because I'd like to see that one work first before we spend another 80 on another one, you know what I mean? They think that they seem to think that we can get another 15 years out of it if we do this. And then within 15 years, we could start a fund, and a lot of communities do this. They'll start a fund where you take so much and put it in that fund just for the replacement of that, and you could use it for other stuff, like say if you replace the filter for 300,000, but you have 500,000 in there, you could replace that filter and then use 200,000 for, the generator or what have you. But you just set up the plan knowing that you got 15 years to replace them, basically. So if you guys wanna do that, I could get the contract, we could sign it and have it ready for the council meeting. I can send it to Charles.
keep that moving.
We're gonna need to do something.
For 20,000.
No, that's the one I gave you guys, I can print it out again, that's the one That was 80 for the filter, 20 for the engineering, so it's 100.
And that's no grant money, that's an emergency.
But if we sign him, he said they would look for money. I did look through the EPA. The problem with the EPA is, you put the project in by August, it gets awarded in January. So that's, yeah, if we're gonna wait that long, we might as well replace the whole filter. So our thinking was, I called another company. I called a couple different places.
What we got in the fund right now for silver, is it 400,000?
I'm not exactly sure.
It's
Yeah.
high threes, low fours.
Yeah.
Wait, who
But
is
there
that?
was a company that was,
Sewer fund.
they had I think, it was one of those programs. I have to get the email.
So what I see online right here, it says that in 2021, they updated it so you can keep your wastewater at a necessary level to maintain. So you probably could use it for the wastewater,
The ARPA funds.
the ARPA funds.
If we could use that ARPA funds,
That would be the way to go, because
Yeah,
we
and
really
then
don't
that-
want to leave the wastewater.
so it costs us 40 grand. And do
Okay.
one, and then apply for the EPA one in January for
Yeah,
the
because the
second one.
EPA one has a 3% interest.
I'd be okay with that.
What do you guys think?
Sounds like a good plan.
And that way we can use the ARPA money and towards that.
Yep.
And let's get that ball going.
Either
So-
way, if you allocate it today and they tell you you can't do it, it's allocated.
Exactly, right.
Okay, what do we need now for the police department to get that up and running?
I think before we move on to a different department, when you're looking at your budget for sewer, keep in mind that that's all your budget for the year, so not all that money is sitting in our
Right,
account
it's
to
not
use
there
right
yet.
now.
Right, it
So
would have to
just
be,
Kinda keep it in the back of your mind.
right.
We got the, sewer fund, and then we have the wastewater fund, right?
No, they're the
No.
same thing. And
Reserve,
What do you
What's
see
that
in
now?
there right now as a funds? Is it high threes, low fours?
I have to click on each line to
They're
tell you.
both low fours,
Is that what it is?
I think when
Yeah.
I looked at what Katrina had sent
That's
today.
what I,
One's 437 maybe, one's 450,
Right,
I don't know,
yeah.
it's around there, I think.
that's what I thought. So if we do this, out of that fund would be about 40,000.
Yes,
And then we apply for the EPA one. And do the other one in January.
And if he wants 20,000 for both filters, I feel confident that he'll write that grant for us. I actually talked to his grant writer as well. And, I think she'll write it for us. It's
The
an
$20,000
application.
fee separate for each
That's-
filter?
No, that's for both filters.
Oh.
Not to exceed 20, so it may
I
not
thought you
be
meant 20 for filter one and 20 for filter
No,
two.
no, no.
Okay. My
Not to exceed 20 for both filters.
I got you.
And it's in the contract, I get it.
I have the contract.
Now, let's see. Do we need to, make a motion then to,
Send it forward.
to put this in and move?
Do you want your sewer number? You guys were asking about it, I clicked on everything. We heard about 416,000, almost 417,000.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But again, not all that is sitting in there right now, cause that includes the sewer money that comes in throughout the rest of this year.
Yeah.
So,
The whole full money.
yes, that's
Uh,
pretty much
it
what
is.
it is, the wishful money that nobody
We
leaves.
hope
and
they
moves.
pay their bills.
All that's not, allocated, or, appropriated, is it?
Not all of it, I think it was about, where is it?
That fund
We should
should
it
be separate
Yeah,
from
what's,
what is encumbered.
right. So we should know like what's what we have in the bank for wastewater? Like a hard number?
No, I don't have that for you, because all of our appropriations are based on predictions of what we anticipate to come in.
Yeah, but is there a separate account for the water, wastewater? I mean, there has to be, because they're their own
It
entity.
used to be,
Well, water, so the number I just gave you was just for the wastewater, because that's what it,
But that's,
Like, what we have sitting in the bank today,
right, what's the, right,
the cash value.
right.
Right, there should be a cash value for each
well,
department.
one of the, and I can't find it anymore. One that we used to get all the time, it would have, the amount of money we just brought in, say for May, in the sewer, and versus how much we've spent for May, and then how much is encumbered, and what is in our total balance.
Right.
And we used to get, so,
okay, so for
and that's
your
where I,
money, well, hang on. Cause I gave you guys the cash flow summary report,
Yeah.
and it shows you what revenue you have that came in January, February, March, April, and May. So it says
So we're
Water
operating,
$143,895.77.
That's all we have in the bank for wastewater?
Well, that, yeah, it says revenues. That's
Well, no,
what-
that's revenues, that's what we brought in.
Yeah, that's what we brought in for this year.
Right.
There's nothing extra, there's nothing more, that's
okay,
just the,
that's
just
what we brought in
January
this
through May.
year.
right, but what they
That's not
have
bank.
cash
Yeah, the
wise.
total is not what we have from every year. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right, there should be,
A rollover of,
Carryover.
And I'm pretty sure what used to be on that, and I can't verify just what, I just go by what the form said. That's why I came up with that number, cause it would be high threes, low fours.
right, because it was part of that $1 million that come from the arsenal, and that money was sitting there and it was being used, but there should still be 400 and some thousand of that left.
Never sharing, or yes?
I don't think there is. I don't think there's $400,000 cash
No,
still there. At one point, a few years back, it was way before you, a few years before you, there was over $800,000 sitting
Right.
there.
right.
Yeah, and the question was, where did that money go?
Right,
Well, I'll tell you, projects we had to do and improvements we had to do. And that fund has been bleeding for a lot of years. But the last time we used to get that form, was a year, it was 460,000, something like that.
was that cash though? Was that
Yeah,
what we
that's
had
what-
with the, yeah,
Yeah,
not what
revenue.
Katrina's talking about, yeah,
If you had that form, it showed what was encumbered,
yeah.
monthly revenue versus expenditures, and what is
Mm-hmm.
unencumbered.
I'm confused, do we not have a way to look in the bank and see what we have in that account?
That,
The cash flow summary doesn't say
It
the
used
actual
to be-
encumbered number.
That's the layman's way of doing it now.
No, it
Just
doesn't
don't
say
know where-
But it says the ending balance
There
is
is no
400.
amount, you're gonna have encumbered money, unencumbered.
right,
No, but you still
You
got
should be
for
able
water
to
and
know exactly
wastewater.
what cash
You can
money
see
you
it,
have for
the
each
amount in the bank,
Right.
that you have bills
And
that
then
are.
I understand
And that's
what's coming
That's
in, I get all of that.
that's what that system's supposed to do for
Of
you,
what's there, yeah.
Right, yes.
but
Well,
I
it
can't
says
find it.
here, revenues last
And then you
for
can-
May
you
was
can estimate your
$10,537.
expenditures.
That's-
And the ending balance for sewer operating is 416,000,
Does that show it?
not encumbered,
That's what I'm
nothing.
saying.
That's what we're.
No
our projections are.
expenditures that,
Right,
on that.
Which one, are you looking at the appropriation page?
Cash flow
Cash flow
summary.
summary.
Here.
Yeah.
That's with the wish money.
Right.
then you have no money,
You,
because
you
the
have no money.
wastewater uses about 350 on average a year
That's why it's
just for operations.
That's why the budgets are so important, and that's why each line is allocated a certain dollar amount, and the goal is not to go over the dollar amount that you think you're gonna spend for the year.
The unfortunate part is, we're in an emergency state with what we have going on down at the sewer plant, that this stuff needs to be repaired, or we're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I mean, it's.
well, you're still having revenue coming in
every month,
every month.
yeah.
And you have 416,000 as a balance. And,
Does it come in as equal amounts pretty much?
revenues
Like if there was 200,000 left, would you say it's
versus
200,000 divided into the 8 months that you have left of the year, whatever that number is? I'm just curious.
It's usually pretty close.
I'm
You're
pretty
usually
sure when I left like 6 years ago, there was $700,000 in there.
Yeah,
And,
I can remember 800,000.
Yeah.
right,
Would that show up on the audit?
and something else, when I spoke with Bernie Petro's grant
So it'd be
writer,
about 37,000.
she said that we made a mistake when we switched the automatic rate change. He said because it's hard to get grant money without having that in place. So that's something we might wanna consider reenacting, you know how like, it used to just automatically
5%
go up.
every year.
Yeah, she said it was a mistake to stop that. She said because the EPA, like anytime you go for grants, they wanna see that because they wanna make sure with inflation and everything that you're gonna be able to pay back that grant.
That you're keeping up, yeah.
And they said
Yeah.
that, you know, that's usually a mandate and you get points for having that, so that's something we might wanna reenact.
It's not a bad idea.
And if this is the case, we're definitely gonna have to raise rates, I mean, because I was under the assumption we had 400,000, not counting what our predicted sales was. If that's all we have in there, we're in trouble.
Last year, you guys ended with a balance of $454,475 in the sewer plant.
So,
But now you're down because we lose about 40,000 a year. Because our expenditures in the sewer is more than our revenue.
last year was in the black though.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little better, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's
last year
because we
was-
allocate more money to water than we do sewer.
Right,
And that's
and that's why we
something-
split
That's
it,
why we flipped it.
yeah. But if
Think
you
we
look
not
at,
flipping
still,
enough, maybe?
check here,
We were supposed to reevaluate it.
January, we lose it. February, lose it. March, we lost that, we must have had some,
Yeah, I think
Well, March, you had some big expenses come
March
out.
you had a big expense.
You had $75,000 of
April we're-
expense from,
we were good,
I think it was.
but those months we were not.
Plus we paid for 8 million
March is
gallons
when
of
we had
water
those
coming in.
Purchases we had to do.
Yeah,
All
that
that.
was
that's-
sewer, I
that's
think
what
he's looking at.
70 something, yeah.
No, I mean, it,
Well, yeah,
That don't cost
yeah.
anything.
But,
He's meaning the process, like down at the sewer plant, all
Yeah,
that extra
it's-
water.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we wanna take a look at that, but I think we gotta do this.
Oh, I agree 100%.
I mean, we're
If
talking
they fail,
40,000 out of
we're
there,
in a
not
lot of trouble,
200,000,
Hopefully 40.
So
Yeah.
For a lot easier, but.
right.
hopefully.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, on a lot of these, you use it and, you know, there were some municipalities that were building buildings that had nothing to do with,
yeah, they got penalized, but in 2021, the article I just read said that as long as you are keeping active or keeping status quo with the money, you can use it, so.
what do you mean by status quo.
Basically, what it said was, let me pull it back up. It says, you use it for a broad range of projects that improve access to clean drinking water, improve wastewater and stormwater infrastructure systems. Necessary investments include projects that are required to maintain.
That's all there.
To maintain a level of service
Certain
that at
things.
least meets applicable health-based standards.
That would definitely be,
I think
that's your water, I mean, that's your quality of your,
So I think that would fit.
that would too. I'd say roll that dice and let's go for it.
I mean, either way, you're gonna pay it.
Yeah.
If they say yes, it's good, then you're only out 40,000.
Yeah.
If you gotta pay the,
Go 100 and then we apply for that other grant. And, so do we make a motion to, recommend this to the general council?
Does the sewer plant have any loans coming out in the future?
The sewer plant does, yes.
I had asked that question before in December.
I think we're still paying on that upgrade.
I'm positive, just off someone looking at some of this stuff, they are paying on a loan. I don't know if they have any additional loans out there.
I believe they have, there's like, water has 2 or 3 loans, sewer has 2.
Yeah.
I think.
But are there any that are scheduled to kick in?
Additional.
That
I don't-
will
I don't
affect
know where-
us.
I don't know, I have no idea.
Are they monthly bills or
No.
they,
No, they come out once or twice a year.
Good.
And like,
That's-
the loans that are paid are, we have one that's about to come out next month, and it's gonna be probably about $70,000, and it's a one-time payment. And that includes water, sewer, I think 3 loans for water, 2 loans for sewer, and then,
Oh, that's for all 3.
That's for all of them,
All
all
of
the
them
loans.
Yes.
together,
Right.
okay.
and then, trying to remember, that's USDA, and then you have some loans through OPCWC and OD, something that's very similar. I don't remember what those are off the top of my head. I have them. I started trying to gather the information and then other stuff started popping up, like switching
cause
things.
that's the one that I think we're good as long as, we get too many big balloon payments.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure we send this through and then we don't get hit with a loan payment in July that we didn't know was coming.
I think, did, phase 2 start coming out yet?
Yeah,
For water?
Yeah.
Did it
I
just
believe
start?
so. I
Cause there
believe
was
that
one that
started.
was just getting ready to start, and this year's flying by, so it might have already started, but I thought there was one that was just starting, or getting ready to.
I don't remember if there was one that started last year or if it started early this year, or if that's included in the tomorrow, or, next month's withdrawal. I don't,
I know phase 2 was this year, cause we talked about it.
but I think that was the last one that you guys had.
There
That
was
had
started,
not been
What
coming
you're
out
talking
yet.
about. Maybe part of what you're talking about.
I think it is. I don't wanna say yes 100% and then I'm giving you guys
I
my
think-
information.
Not to be a pain, but I think we're gonna have to figure all this out and get some hard numbers so we can figure out how to move forward, because this is kinda scary now, honestly. I mean, considering the meters, the filters, the generator, the headworks.
The
I mean,
biggest
we're gonna
one
have
has
to
to be
figure
the
out
filters.
rates, we're gonna have to look into moving money from water to wastewater.
I don't think you can do that, can you?
You can
Only
adjust the
adjust
rate.
Adjusting the rates is
Adjust
what
the
you're
rates.
Oh,
talking
okay,
about.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So do we wait until we have hard numbers or do we send this through for?
well, if we could use the
council?
ARPA, we could go with that.
ARPA, you guys have $63,939.69.
Either way, we have to do something with that. I don't know what else to do. We have
I mean, I say
to.
we go ahead and make a recommendation
Okay.
for it with, use
Yeah.
the ARPA money, and if something happens and we can't use it, then we'll have to
We'll have to figure it out, but,
reconvene.
at least we'll have Bernie, we could use his grant writers. We'll have to get with, regional planning and Stacy and just exhaust every, resource we have.
And that'll take care of one filter.
right,
And we
And
wanted
then
to
apply-
test them for 6 months anyways, to
Right,
see how
right.
they
Right.
go, so.
One's
Yeah.
not as bad as the other.
Just confirming
Right.
before we
Yeah.
send it through, we're all on the same
Right.
page.
Right.
so, I think we need to make a motion to regular council to approve this, and then let's get it going,
Using the remainder of the ARPA funds.
and go with
And-
Using the ARPA
your
funds.
man, what's that guy's name again?
Bernie Petro.
Yeah, and, start pursue with,
I'll second that motion.
Towards one filter
one
Yes.
filter.
at the wastewater.
It's gonna be about 80,000 for the filter, and 20,000
For the
Or-
consulting.
engineering.
David,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Sherry,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
Terry,
Yeah,
Marilyn.
Yes.
Alright.
Under utilities, I just got a question, just to iron it out, so we're done with the sewer position. Are you gonna take the test and you're gonna take care of that, and we're gonna pull the listing down, or,
Yes,
okay,
Guess what?
yes I am.
Well,
I'm just
no, I
kidding.
do a very
I
thing.
know, I know.
And I,
I just wanna make
I'm
sure that
gonna,
I
I'm
was,
gonna get my, class 2, I'll take it in 2 weeks, and, Billy then will stick around, and him and I will take care of the wastewater plant.
I just wanted a final answer on what we were gonna do.
Indeed does offer an option to contact people directly that you see are qualified for positions. So you can do up to 5 for free.
So are we removing it from Indeed then and everything else?
Here's the biggest thing. Billy has got over 15 years of knowledge of our infrastructure and where things was back when, Samansky and them were here, you know what I mean? And I think keeping him as long as we can, it'd probably be the smartest thing we done.
I just wanted to put this one to bed and be
Right.
done, ask some questions about it.
I think his plan is to go part-time, right?
Yes.
So then we can remove the listing from Indeed and take the posting down.
so you get paid for what you do?
He's still the village administrator, he's salaried. Unless that changes in the future, but that's the reason why he agreed to do it, was because it would save the village money by being the village administrator and helping at the sewer plant. But that's up to you guys as well.
I would think when we get to that point, we would look at what compensation really looks like,
Right.
with that type
Let
of
me
thing,
get
you know what I'm
class.
saying, just
I
based
think
off of the
you
skill
gotta have
set
something.
for the job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, would make sense, I think we could
Um,
review it at that time.
I agree.
And then I think we gotta be in communication with Billy. At some point, he's gonna want to, travel or whatever,
Oh, his daughter already has plans for him, so.
yes. Before he completely leaves out, we need to start finding, more permanent,
We're gonna get Tyler ready.
yeah, that would be the best plan, right?
That's our goal.
Good,
okay, what about your other job?
How about it?
I mean, you're still gonna be doing that job at the same time?
I'm here till 2 o'clock every day. That's how it's been,
Okay,
so,
so Billy takes over after 2? I mean,
no,
what's Billy gonna be working and then you're gonna be working?
Well, I don't know where I'm at.
whatever's
but-
needed,
I
whatever's
mean,
needed.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but he's got another job that he wants to do
Yeah,
at the same time.
whatever's needed, like, Billy works from 6 to 2.
Yeah.
I would work if he needed, like, he's gonna work part-time, he needs 10 hours at the wastewater plant. I would put in 10 hours at the wastewater plant.
And then 10
Tyler
hours
runs,
as village
Tyler can run
administrator.
it, that's
Yeah.
just the logistics of it. that's just so EP says, okay, you guys are good. You know what I mean? And then we work together. If he needs me, I'll come in. If I need him, he'll come in.
It'd be nice to have two.
I've worked down there for over a year already. When I first started, I worked with Billy down there for a year.
Mhm.
And then I worked here, so, I mean, I can run all three departments.
Well, yeah, I know, but you got,
Yeah, so,
you're gonna be,
but I'm already doing it.
okay, I
I'm
just
not-
wondered about your
I'm
other
not doing
job.
Billy's job, but I'm here all day. I don't leave out of town.
He does that in the afternoon now,
The other job.
his full-time job. Yeah, he said that before, that he does that in the afternoon after he leaves here.
Oh, okay.
Sarah helps me with some of them, and I go check them. I left today at 2:15, and I finished up. I literally got here. I didn't go home. I got straight here, but it's not I do this because I want to. It's not a have to or need to. It's because I want to. So it makes it pretty easy.
Thank you.
Alright, anything else on utilities?
No.
Alright, Terry?
Oh,
finance?
actually, I'm sorry, yes.
Nope.
Utilities kind of economic development. After our conversation on Friday, Ryan and I reached out to the gentleman from West Farmington that had the water line ran from Newton Falls out to there. He gave us a number for a guy down in Zanesville. We called him, left a voicemail, try and reach back out to him on tomorrow, and try and get all that information taken care of. The guy in Zanesville is the one that did all the engineering and figured everything out for their water line. So he
And
took
found
care
the
of
money.
it and found the money. He took care of the whole project for West Farmington, and we got that number, so we're gonna try. Well, the plan is to go up Windham Parkman, go down Crestwood,
Crestview?
Crestview, Geneva, Wisteria,
Mhm.
that loop, go down 82 and come back down Horn Road, is the plan. It's like 3 miles, I think we figured it out. Andrew sat here and figured it
Yeah,
out,
it's
roughly
right.
3 miles.
2.889 miles.
Then we could use the Horn Road Tower for all of that.
That would be.
And then we
nice.
get our
That's a
turnover
very
rate
good
and
idea.
everything else.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, Ryan and I are working on that right now to hopefully get some headway. And then there will be a T there
Be nice to.
where if we did in the future, we wanted to go down 82 towards Turnpike, Bryant Road, all that we could, it would already be established. And I think there's another house maybe on the north side of 82 that we wanna try and tie into for a resident that has a cistern and a well that is paying a truck in.
Yeah.
Or water, so.
How did they, when they put in that line, do they get people to commit to tap into that, or how that work?
The way they did it in Southington was, it was like next to nothing to tap in if you did it while the ditch was open.
Right.
And then after, if you come back later, then it's like,
It's like
We did that
$3,000,
when we
I
put the
think,
new
is
water
what Tyler's, they told Tyler.
in Windham, we did the same thing.
yeah,
I
that's
know,
how,
Jimbo Apport,
yeah.
he tied in at that time, and it was fairly inexpensive.
I think if we did it at that time, maybe just expenses, you know what I mean, like the curb stop and the tap.
Yeah,
So
just the
maybe
consistent
like-
stuff, yeah.
Maybe like $300, you know
Right.
what I mean, to tap
Just to
in.
get a new
Compared
customer.
to, right, right.
And then I think also, I know, if we run it out there, it'll put hydrants all the way down Windham Parkman 82 and Horn Road, which will in turn hopefully lower the ISO rating for the fire department, which would in turn lower everybody in the fire district's insurance rates, which is a good plus for everybody.
Yes,
So,
I
It's a
think
win-win.
you have a good,
the fire
people will
protection
want
is
that,
the biggest
especially
thing.
Crestview, Wisteria and all that,
especially
yeah.
if the fee is that low, why wouldn't you?
And then if we have water going out there too, even if it's just Windham Parkman, we could try and get sewer. Because of all the faulty septic tanks systems going out Windham Parkman, we could try and get sewer with just a pump station if we need it, but I think there's enough fall. We would just need a pump station at Wolf Road. Give or take,
Sounds good.
so.
It's 100%.
I think you're right. because as small as we are, if we don't start expanding out, and getting more
We have to.
customers, we're gonna be in
Yeah,
trouble.
we've been talking about this for 20 years.
But at least West Farmington put in all the work and did the legwork for, now we just have to piggyback off of them and get the guy
Yeah.
on board with us.
That guy said he got over $1 million worth of money to
I
do
thought it
some
was 5 million.
altogether.
Yeah,
It might have been,
total.
But they
Yeah.
did some
West
wastewater
Farmington,
stuff, they
yeah.
did some water stuff,
They
now
have
they're
a-
gonna do some more tower stuff.
Yeah.
That's not, it's not a cheap project, but
And I don't think we've ever had over $1 million
So that
project.
guy did it all for him, and he said since there's 3 miles, he'd be on board with it because it's not like a half a mile stretch or something. It's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
When
This
it
is
comes
all
to
with
water.
grants.
This
His
guy does it all.
engineer, He finds the grants and
It's
stuff.
it's
yeah.
like
It would have-
So
Bernie.
is this a project that we need to start setting money aside in order to match for?
Probably,
Because
probably.
you guys were just talking numbers and getting a little worried and antsy, not that I'm not either, I see them every day. But that's definitely something that needs planned for, not just,
Yeah, that's why we were waiting for that guy to call us back, just so we could start the process, see how much was needed, how much they had to match.
Yeah.
I know
And
West
all that.
Farmington didn't have no money. They had no money, that's what he
Right.
said. His wife was the mayor, the guy that we talked to, and he was,
He's like the village administrator pretty much.
township, for the township, but he said they had no money. And they got a little bit of money in the bank and was able to do all this stuff, so, I mean, it's definitely worth finding out, you know what I
Right,
mean? At
yeah.
least see what he says and see what we could get. I mean, we don't have to commit to
Yeah.
anything, but no one is,
I don't think it costs any money to talk to him. So.
Right.
No.
let's pursue it.
Good, David? Alright,
Yes, ma'am.
Terry.
I don't have anything for finance, except, or, I don't know, what are we doing with the bank? It's now closed. So you're still using Farmers, or have we gone to Litchfield?
so we've switched, well, we're half and half.
Okay,
So the majority of our money is sitting over in Middlefield. They ended up getting us a better interest rate than what they presented here, so we're actually
Good.
working out better than we initially thought. There are still outstanding checks in Farmers, so we can't close anything over there just yet. I just recently got checks, last week for Middlefield, so here soon, checks will start getting written out of that. All of our RETA, state money that comes in for like the gas tax and all that stuff's still going to Farmers. I haven't even opened that can of figuring out how to move all that stuff just yet.
yeah,
So, the thought is, Middlefield obviously has to keep enough money for the outstanding checks that are still out there. The money that's coming in, like the revenue that's coming in from the state and everything, maybe, every couple weeks or whatever, I'll just drive to Manaway, get a cashier's check, move it over to Middlefield. I'm out there for soccer for my son on Saturdays anyway, it's not that big of a deal to just stop in and do it.
okay.
At least until that gets sorted out, so the money's going to Middlefield. One payment has been shifted, they entered the wrong numbers, so hopefully they get it done in time, it's supposed to come out of Middlefield, the one for next month. So, but if it comes out of Farmers for some reason, it was calculated in with the balance that I left there, so
Okay.
we'll still be fine with that. Payroll's still coming out of Farmers, cause I have to wait for UAN to change the report that goes to Middlefield. But I'm trying to account for that too, so far, we're in the process. Everything's opened and running, Marie goes to Middlefield Bank every day, she's not driving out to Manaway. So,
Okay,
Middlefield Bank in Garrettsville, correct?
yes.
Alright. Say
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry.
You're
It kinda has to tie with the bank and utilities. The representatives from Middlefield Bank came out, Lisa came out, and she also brought a credit card guy that came out. We explained how we do all pay right now, where everybody can call the number, they deal with any customer issues that there are or anything. they recommended not even switching how we accept our credit cards as far as that. They did recommend getting a credit card swiper, like changing what we currently have. So then Marie doesn't have to sit there and manually enter in the names and the credit card number and, you know, all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's no charge to have that sitting there, all the fees are put on the residents, just like it currently is right now. They're pretty much about the same rates. So if you guys would like to go that way, we can. Marie, right now, would just like to stay where it's at, personally, because with the new meters coming and the new software, she doesn't wanna deal with a bunch of different stuff.
But she does want to swipe.
She's happy with where she's at, because that's what she knows. Now, down the road, in
She's
a
happy.
year or so, maybe that'll change, but currently,
She does a job, not me.
that's
Yeah.
what I told
Do it
her.
the way you can do
And I
it.
told her I would tell you guys that,
Yeah.
it affects her, not me,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
She's
just so
happy
you
the
guys
way it
know too.
is.
It makes her happy.
Right,
yeah.
but that's it, that's all I had.
Maryland, safety personnel.
For safety part of it, did you guys hear the sirens going off the other day?
I wasn't in Windham, but I heard that they
The
went
tornado siren did go off
Tornado
I was-
siren
in my basement.
does work and you can hardly hear it indoors.
Yeah,
You
I-
can't hear it
There's a
indoors.
reason why it's been stressed again and again and again that the tornado siren is only meant for people outside.
yeah.
Well,
So,
they can't say it didn't go off.
but it did go off.
I was
and-
in my house and I heard it,
Mhm.
but I opened the window or the door to make sure that I heard it. And that's what it was, cause I
I
didn't,
slept through
you know, if it
It was a
was
tornado in
interference
Berkeley.
or that,
it,
but
I heard that.
But it didn't go off on my phone.
no,
Didn't
it
go off
did
on mine
not.
either.
It didn't go off
It
on mine
did
either.
on mine and my wife's phone did go off from
It
the emergency.
Nope,
Yeah,
mine didn't.
Mine did
Mine
not
didn't either.
either.
That's
So
why
the only time
Cheryl
it's-
called me and
The
I'm
only
like,
time it's gonna do that is if you're within that certain range.
Exactly, it depends on which
Okay.
PSAC you're going to.
Yeah,
okay,
so they send it
Yeah.
out to the 911 jurisdiction and that's where it sets your phone off.
It's all a
Oh.
geofencing thing,
so it was down south, so we didn't get it.
but I did. So it might have been like the turnpike might have been the cutoff or
cutoff?
something like,
Oh,
something
that's
weird like
possible.
that.
Oh, could have been.
So, yeah.
So,
I didn't know it.
I
what,
called Terry, do you hear it?
now,
No.
Chief, you were talking about having that moved,
No.
or no?
No,
Or it's
no.
gotta stay where it's at?
We all discussed and whatever they determined they wanted to do with it was what we were gonna do. So I think they have it in their hands on what's happening with that, so.
Who?
Ryan and the mayor.
Okay, cause I know the fire department isn't
What?
handling the
With
fire.
the
whistle.
siren.
Well, they ain't gonna do it.
Okay. Now, for personnel, we discussed employee raises and I don't know. We came up with numbers for each person, as far as personnel goes. So how do we do this? Do we just make a motion to approve? Does it have to, I don't know what to do.
I think we should do it out loud just so it's
Okay.
reflected on the record because we've had that problem before where actual compensation was not reflected in the record and we
And
were
therefore-
questioning.
I didn't know if we had to just put it out and it be,
I say we can go out loud and you can say what each person's is.
say what it is.
So a public record anyway.
Well, I know it becomes public record, but
It was in the last council meeting.
Well, it was wrong. Andrews was wrong.
well,
What did you give to Katrina?
Well, it's not you, it's we.
It was us as a council. I gave her exactly what you gave me, cause that's what we discussed.
Okay, cause I know I didn't give Katrina anything.
I gave it to her. Her and I sat down and we had a meeting. I gave her the
Okay.
information.
When we did that on Thursday, okay?
Mhm.
I could not hand her the rest of the minutes that we made the motion for,
Correct, until you told her.
because Mac
Because we
was
would-
supposed to talk to her.
We didn't want her to read it and then say, oh,
Right,
we wanted to
exactly.
do it the respectful way.
So I
Yeah.
didn't give her anything on the rest of the minutes for that night.
Right.
So Sherry and, well, Mac and Sherry were supposed to talk to her. They didn't get to talk to her till, what, Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday,
She had to leave
So-
and I wasn't able to be here before she left, so it was Tuesday, yeah.
okay.
I'm confused.
Then we voted on Thursday of the next week or something.
Right, well, what the numbers that I gave Katrina were not correct.
Okay,
And I guess she had some conversation with you or called you or asked you if she should give Andrew more money.
Well, it was
And then it was changed and nobody from council knew it was changed on that.
Here's my understanding of it. My understanding of it was if Andrew had the certification, he was to get 50 cents more. That was the conversation. Then, somebody had to check into it. Did we ask you to check into it?
Nobody asked me to
No?
check into it, I did
Okay.
it on my own, nobody.
I didn't know what it was.
Which is typically
So,
how it goes.
because what I wrote down, on that paper, the original thing that we said was 2.5% for Katrina, she was going to salary, Billy was 3%, Tony was 3%, Andrew, $20 an hour, Tyler, $20 an hour, Marie was at 3%. Rob, $18.50, Addie, $16 an hour. Ryan, $1,000 a year increase.
Which
Chris,
we
which we-
took back.
we took back because.
Okay.
It's only been in 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
And
then-
Demel, we said nothing.
We didn't know,
for him.
we were gonna look into Demel and that was one thing we didn't do.
Yeah,
Okay,
haven't done
But Ryan came to a council meeting 5 months ago and said,
right.
everybody does lab work, everybody is.
Right, that was the whole purpose when we spoke about when Billy and Tyler wanted off the water lab. And then they come up like, okay, do we take 50 cents? And I suggested not to because Billy and Tyler have their own lab that they don't get paid for, and it's way more extensive than the lab they have. The lab they have over there is simple. It's just simple. And that was just an incentive that we put in place years ago to get streets and to get everybody else, give them an incentive to learn other departments. So that's why it was put there, but I mean, I just don't think it's fair to take it from Billy and Tyler when their lab, like the CBOD's it's extensive and it's really complicated to set up. And then the total suspended solids is complicated to put up. So, I mean, if you're gonna give lab to one, why wouldn't you give it to everybody?
Cause the
So-
ordinance says a license.
Well, but it's a lab license, it's not, it doesn't matter, like,
Well,
They
I'm
come
pretty sure
down-
it would matter if they took it to a lawyer.
no,
And
I
the
don't think it
ordinance says
would, I
that
mean,
you need
because
a lab
policy is
license.
policy, there's nothing that says because
Okay,
they
but
have
they
a
did
license
not
that we have to pay
renew
them.
their license,
Because they were told they
right?
didn't have to,
Why? Who said that?
their boss,
You said they didn't have to renew their license?
because
I'm
of
not
what
gonna
they're
force
doing
them.
down in this sewer department.
They didn't wanna do it, I'm not gonna force them to do it.
Why did they get
That's
it
for
to begin
water,
with?
right?
Right.
Not sewer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's
No,
my
that's
thing,
for
I don't
sure.
care if you pay Andrew $50 an hour, my point is not about that. My point is, Katrina and I sat down, had a conversation, then Terry told her that it was okay to do it.
I did
None
not
of
say
us
that.
knew from council that it was okay, then I don't know why it happened.
I
Well,
talked,
What happened was it was a typo on the agenda.
No, it
That's
wasn't
what
a typo.
happened.
I have a text message from Katrina that told me this,
Okay.
okay?
I did not say that, to do that.
Then I don't understand why I could.
the way, what
What?
happened was, I was going over the numbers, you didn't see, and this is part of the problem, you guys. And this is no offense to anybody on council, administrator, anybody in this village. you all talk amongst yourselves instead of going directly to the source to get information.
I didn't talk to anybody, I talked to you.
I'm saying, there's a lot of different little conversations that happen, and then it gets muddled because one person interprets this way and one person interprets this way. And then I end up getting accused of doing something I shouldn't be doing, which quite honestly is really starting to rub me the wrong way. Okay?
First of all, you don't need to talk to, we're all adults here, so you need to talk to us in a
I
calm
am
manner.
talking to you.
Well, you're getting a little bit,
I have a
This.
right to get upset. You guys cut my pay, is what you did.
no, we didn't.
This whole situation, you did, this whole situation is very upsetting and irritating. I ran the numbers that you gave me. Some of them had to be adjusted because the numbers just weren't working out with what was written down there. 3% doesn't cut out so evenly to all twos, okay? Same thing with some other things. I went and I knew the ordinance existed about the license. When Terry dropped off the recording and stuff, I explained that to her. I even explained to her the fact that I was pretty ticked off. In fact, I pretty much said, oh, I'm pissed. Okay? And I explained to her the license. They let their license go. It's only fair and it's only right for Andrew to keep his 50 cents because the ordinance says that you get 50 cents for a lab license. You get $1 for a college degree. It's very cut and dry of what the ordinance says. They don't have to have a lab license at the sewer. I understand that they do labs or whatever, but that's not what the ordinance says. It refers to a license.
So my
I explained
understanding,
this to Terry, and she had said, well, go ahead and put it on there. We will discuss, we will talk about it at the meeting. Where that came through or it didn't come through, I don't know. That I wasn't here. What I can tell you guys though is the way you guys voted on the whole process at the end of that after executive session was illegal and it wasn't right.
how so?
Because you didn't read exactly what you were doing and you didn't make the motion the correct way. All you said was, and you said it, we're voting on what's on this paper. Yes, yes, okay, we all voted, we're done. Gone. And
I can't answer that,
I'm not, it's a different topic. I've talked to a couple different people about what you guys did with me. That's not a 40-hour-a-week job. You calculated my hours at 40 hours a week. I work 2 hours overtime. I'm working for free. And I'm making less money than what I did when I started here.
Katrina, if you're gonna work at home, you have to be salaried. There's no way to work it any other way. There's no accountability. If you want to be hourly, you have to be here.
That's not what I was hired under those guys.
But,
And you guys presented
okay,
one, you
and
presented
that's
one
why it's being
opening
corrected.
position to me.
We also
You
have
can't
the power
do
to
that.
change it.
And then
Yeah.
why can't you guys turn around and change a job description and tell two operators that they have to have their secondary license? Because when I proposed
Katrina,
that, you guys also said, no, we can't do
I
that
think
because they're
what
already
we're
working
confused
here.
about is like, the
Why?
position is, they made a choice, they gave you the paper and said, this is what you want now, regardless of what I want, what you want, what chief wants, ultimately, they make the say, that's the way it goes. If they say, give them X amount of money, you give them X amount of money. I mean, it shouldn't even really be a conversation.
And I think the problem is you went in and you said that you went in, reviewed everything and changed it and then talked to Terry about it, and that's the problem is we didn't approve that. You took it upon yourself to look into it and review it.
Can I just say something?
As-
Is this something you guys should be doing in executive session with
No.
personnel?
No, anything would be.
No,
Exactly.
This should be open for
No,
everybody to know.
Charles said it does not have to be.
Should I be
Alright.
There ain't nobody.
No, everybody should hear it. I mean, this is all open.
yeah, it is, there's gonna be mistakes made, and then what we need to do is bring it up to the whole committee. and-
Well, that's fine, but when I'm pulled into a meeting and I'm accused of doing something wrong,
I don't know who's,
Mac, he said right there, instead we need to talk about personnel, you authorized a raise that you were not given authority to do.
I don't know why we're getting emotional. We're talking. There's
She's
emotion.
allowed.
Chris?
Let me cut your pay and see how you feel. You'll be pretty ticked off.
It is,
I don't
it
think
was an
you cut the
untenable
pay.
situation. And, I'm a supporter, but at the same time, you cannot, normally, that job is a salary type job. You get paid the money.
It's been that.
Well,
way.
if we're going off of ordinance, the
I mean, when I
ordinance
asked
clearly
Carrie about
states
it,
salary,
Carrie
so
told me it was salary, that
It's,
Lloyd
if-
and
yeah.
Cherie were both salary.
Hey, if
They
we're
were.
gonna go back and review things and look at what the ordinance
Oh,
says, the
this
ordinance
is-
clearly states salary, so
Sure.
we did not, as council, vote to change your position from
Well,
a
that's
salary to a per hour, no
That's
matter what you were hired
not my
under.
fault.
And it's
No,
not
it's not
our
your
fault that we had to change it.
It just
It
was
is, you were
needed.
here when I got hired in.
I wasn't,
Yeah, you were. You've
wasn't?
been here
Well,
since.
yes,
No,
I
I
was,
mean-
but I don't know how, cause it was not reflected in the minutes on how you were hired. Because that was a deal with Debbie, and I believe,
No,
who was on,
It was
employee,
Debbie and Jamie,
or
I
safety?
think, that talked to you.
It was.
I
They
I
had to be
didn't
under
have any
safety and
conversation
personnel.
with her.
I didn't have any conversation.
So
with them.
whoever-
I didn't get anything in that.
Interviewed and hired is the ones that it falls on, but either way, the ordinance clearly states salary.
Mac and I were
So
part
if
of
we're
the
going off
interview
of what
with
the ordinances
Katrina.
state,
I don't know if you were, Scott, or not, but I was not part of any conversation when it came to her wage.
so
There's certain jobs that are salary, and sometimes you gotta work more, you gotta work less. You can remember some people were upset that Cherie was going home or going here or there during the day.
but she was
Yeah.
salary.
And I said, hey, she's salary as long as she gets her job done.
I
It
mean,
doesn't really matter.
you're only supposed to work 20 hours a week. Are you putting in more than 20,
I am,
and you're still making the same amount?
I am.
Alright.
It is what happens. I mean, there's a lot of jobs like that. Last night I was doing paperwork at the office till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, cause I
I
gotta
think the
get it done.
difference is though you were hired under that precedent, if you were
Absolutely.
gonna be salaried, while I was not. I
Well,
walked away from stuff to come here because I was presented one way.
that situation is just not a good one. I'm okay with you working at home, but it'd have to be salary. I mean, it is,
How can I sit here and say that you approve, or how can I sit here and be okay with you saying I'm at home working 16 hours of overtime, when who's here to police that?
I don't work 16 hours of overtime.
It was an example.
Normally it's about an hour or two, tops 5 hours is what I've done. And the majority of that is because of training, typing minutes, getting ready for this.
Well, if that's the case, then you don't lose money because you got an
No, I do
increase.
lose money. No, I didn't. When it is calculated out, I work 2 hours over a 40-hour week and I make less money than what I started with.
So if it's a big problem, then how would just make it, you have to be in the office and you get paid per hour?
Yeah.
But the ordinance says salary, so we'd have to change the pay schedule.
yeah, it's a convenience to be home. And I get that, but it comes at a cost. You know, it is what it is. It just, to do hourly and work from home you're always going to lend yourself to unwarranted critical,
There's no way to police it.
right.
That's the only,
Somebody's gonna come up with,
Right.
say something, whether it's not true or not true, and there's no way to rebut it.
so how we wanna move forward, I don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
I just went
So
right
what are you
over it.
doing about Andrew?
We voted on,
If the license, if it says he gets 50 cents, and that's what the ordinance says, and he gets 50 cents, my concern was not the 50 cents about Andrew, I could care less about it. My concern was the fact that nobody knew that everything got changed, and we were voting on something that was not the discussion that we had at the meeting before.
then at
I'm
the,
pretty sure
at
that we
the
brought up
meeting,
the license in the meeting.
We did, you did 5 months ago, and all
Well,
this
that
council
wasn't-
said they were
I
okay
must
with
not
how
have
it was
been
set
here
up.
because I didn't hear that.
Well,
I'm the only one I remember saying somebody about license. Rob got his lab license and I answered why.
Yeah,
And you said-
you did ask about Rob.
Right, because I said
You
I
said, does this
why.
include Rob's lab license, and we said yes.
Yes, that's it. That's the only license I've ever heard.
No, we
But
talked.
not only that,
but, yeah.
at this meeting that we were just at last month, it said 2050 on that thing.
No, it didn't.
Agenda.
Yeah, it
No,
did,
it
because
That's what she said.
that's not what okay, Terry,
But we
listen.
okayed it. We
Well-
should have discussed it right then.
Well, I didn't notice it till I left, and when I left, I sent Katrina a message and asked her about it.
Well, we still go.
Yeah, we could,
And she had talked to somebody in between the time that we left here, because she had an answer for me.
well, there's two ways of easily doing it. One, you, just add it to what he has now with the license, or B, just bring his salary, her amount hourly lower, so the license brings him up.
It doesn't, I'm good, honestly, I'm fine with Andrew, I'm sure everybody else is 50 cents, and
It's
if
just
he's
the way it
entitled
went
to
down.
it, he's entitled to it, that's not my issue, I could care
So
less
what is
about that
the
money.
issue then?
The issue is how it happened.
That's not my, I could care less, I don't care if he makes $100 an hour.
Okay, well, here's what I say do. If Andrew's maintaining a license, then I say he should get the 50 cents, that would put him at 20.50. Is everybody okay with all the other,
The only one was Marie,
Increases.
so it sounds like when, Elizabeth left, Marie took on the 2 tasks, she's also her utilities clerk, plus she's, office manager, she took on Elizabeth's responsibility, so the request was, is there an opportunity for us to pay Marie a little bit more than the 1950 or 1960, whatever it was,
1929.
so.
okay, and
First I've heard of that.
What
the
is
discussion
her,
I thought was, whether it was the executive session or what, is that Marie was already at the top, over the top.
She, you're correct.
Yeah,
Okay, but the issue is, she took over Elizabeth's responsibility when
She's-
Elizabeth
That was
left.
incorrect, basically, that
Okay.
She's not
Alright.
at the,
that wasn't accurate.
So for
She's-
that, right.
she's not at the top. She is classified as village administrator assistant,
okay,
and the top for that is
22,
20 something, yeah. It's-
22, I think.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
above 20.
and her new rate then would be 19,
It's currently
Something.
1929.
Well, that's what you guys were, that's what you have, well, you were
Approved.
supposed to approve
Right.
last month.
okay.
what was she making, prior to the raise?
Hang on, I can tell you.
I think Mac wanted to do something different.
He wanted to look at like maybe 21 or I don't know, something, I don't really, didn't talk too much about it, but.
Because she was offended, she thought maybe she was being punished because she didn't get she didn't get a raise.
Well, she did, but
Well,
she
she did,
did,
not
but
what?
she was making lower than everybody else, something like that.
I don't know exactly, but
So she currently is at 1873.
Thank you.
So 3% was the 1929 then?
So, you said that she was offended that she didn't get what she thought she deserved, and
I don't know.
I think
I mean,
that's,
I don't know.
I feel like I deserve more money in my job too, but
Does
I
the-
don't,
we
I
all-
just, I don't
No,
go to
I
my
think-
boss and say.
Marie does a lot.
Marie does a lot more
She
than
does,
any
and
of you guys.
she's perfect
No,
for
I
that,
realize what
though.
she
Well,
does, she's
it's
taking
not
on with Elizabeth,
you personally,
yes.
She,
Yeah, I agree.
to me, she's worth 25.
I can
That's
tell you
just
that
what-
she
I
is
don't
doing a
know.
lot more than she was doing, and her
Right.
classification changed. So I don't, and this is just me observing what goes on around here during the day. She went from doing one thing to doing several different things. And I think she feels like she's been here for 7 years. She went from part-time to full-time, and her duties expanded. So when she heard what she was getting, it kind of upset her a little bit, and she is doing more. So I think where she was like everybody was at $20 an hour, and she felt like she was at least worth that.
What kind of raise did she get, like initially, what was hers, I don't remember.
3%.
It was like 70 cents, I think, or no, yeah, or 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents.
1873 to 1929 was that, so that's,
3%,
yeah.
let's see, 56 cents.
What I would encourage everybody here to do is to come and walk around and have somebody's footsteps that's here all day long, and not just take a snapshot of what happens here, because there's a lot of people busting their butt here and you don't see it. And there's personality conflicts all the way around that I see, including with me. And I think if everybody were to come and see actually what is going on, and if they knew how many things were going on, they could understand why the people who are here 40, 50 hours a week kind of get a little upset when people don't know what is really going on. Because there's a lot. There is a ton that happens in this village, and it's being maintained. Ryan's putting more hours in than 20, and he can tell you the same thing. Everybody here is busting their hump.
I think, well, that's,
Any recommendations for Marie, bump her up $1, or 20, 29?
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
say take her to 20, because she was at 1873,
73.
take her up to 20. You wanna make it an even number.
Do that.
What are we doing with Andrew?
2050.
Okay, so can we read that off so we can vote legally tonight?
We'd have to recommend it to.
Yeah, but, so that way it's on the record.
Hey, give me 1 second to copy these numbers.
I got till midnight.
Why you turn into a pumpkin?
No, cause at midnight we have to end the meeting.
I mean, if you want hourlies, it's,
Do you have it, did you,
The
no, I
3%.
mean, I think,
I have, the only one you have to do is Marie.
Do you want me to read that?
Marie's would be $20 an hour, so.
but
Okay.
Katrina has the sheet, I think. in
After
front
I
of her.
read it, just whoever is making the motion, just say, what was it that Tom Morris had you say? I motion,
Okay,
making the motion to
Accepted as
raise,
presented.
or to present to council, employee raises compensation, hourly employees, Andrew McCabe, $20.50 an hour, Bill Pennington, $30.08 an hour, Marie Evans, $20 an hour, Rob Lusher, $18.50 an hour, Tony Blewett, $28.08 an hour, Tyler Pennington, $20 an hour, Addie Carter, $16 an hour, Scott Kearns, $20.80 an hour, salary employees, police chief Rick Erringer, $2,223.41 bi-weekly. Change fiscal officer Katrina Washington from hourly employee to a salaried employee with a yearly salary of $46,700. This will go into effect next payday, May 5th, 2024. All raises, except for fiscal officer Katrina Washington, will be retroactive to January 1st, 2024.
Why would yours not be retroactive?
Because I've worked overtime up till now, and you would basically be making me work for free for
Yeah,
the
Okay,
beginning of the
okay,
year.
I'd agree with that.
You make that motion.
Did we not, I'm sorry, before we make that motion, did we not add Addie in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
so.
She
said
did
Addie
say
Carter,
her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
$16 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, just, I missed that.
so,
You make a motion or I'll?
sure, I will. So, I make a motion to approve,
That,
or,
whatever.
Approve it
I
as
motion.
presented.
I motion,
That's all you say.
okay.
I'll second.
David,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Cheryl, Terry,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes,
Sherry.
Yes. All right, service committee, Cheryl on that.
okay.
Alright, I'd like to say that, if you guys are driving down across from Mace's gas station. I went and knocked on that lady's door, and I asked her if they could trim that tree out front, because when you were coming down on Wilburn, you had to pull out so far. And she said her and her husband talked about it, and yes, they did it. Within a couple hours, I told her, I said, I'm only asking because I don't wanna see somebody get killed or hurt pulling out, and they did that. And, anyways, I trimmed some bushes down to the community center because I want to, not because I have to. And, I'm helping with the police station.
Yes, she is.
I'm down there helping them because I want to. And, you know, I clean and stuff, I do, and, oh, I wanna say something else, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I have been mowing some senior citizens' yards.
Nice.
And I take their trash out to the road, and if it's still out there, I take it back for them. I've gotten over 17,000 steps in just a couple days when I do that, so, yay!
Wow. Thank you, Cheryl.
That is great.
David, economic development.
The only thing under that, I had the water lines, so.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing.
All right, I have nothing for planning commission. Rick?
The solicitor met with the courts and it looks like they got a good plan moving forward. He'll probably be able to present it at the next meeting for the camera. The only thing I was gonna ask council about was I did have that quote from the electric for JC Electric to do the electric lines, and then I had from Phillips to come in and do the maintenance on the AC and the heating. I would like to be able to go forward with that so we can get into the building. We gotta paint, and
Do you have a tentative date when you can get in there?
it's all gonna come down to how quick we can paint. I mean, we moved some stuff over. I think if we really get working hard on getting in there and painting, I'm thinking we can be in by the middle of next month. It slowed things down with the storm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to JC Electric quote, at the bottom it says, there may be holes that need opened up in the drywall. We plan on using our village workers to repair the drywall and stuff.
Yeah, we got plenty of drywall,
Okay.
and
I just wanna make sure that was gonna be done in-house.
somebody can do it.
Okay.
We did all the framing and drywall work for the offices, so.
Okay. Just wanna make
Robbie
sure.
and Drew and us.
Do we need a motion to approve that, or?
That's what I wasn't sure of. The electric one I think was 3,900,
Yeah, 39.9.
so I can only approve 3.
Okay, and then the, Phillips just said,
They quoted
95
me,
per hour.
yeah, and 2 guys.
Yep.
So it might be a day-long thing. So
I'd be okay with approving that, and making a motion to approve the quotes as presented.
But you technically can't approve them because they were not on the agenda, but you can motion to send them to council.
Okay. Can we do it here and now, if they can come out, or then and now, if they can come out earlier and do the work?
Don't think so, cause it was not on the agenda.
Okay,
I,
That's
just
2
going off
weeks.
of what
okay,
Charles had said in the past when we tried to do it.
no problem. I will make a motion to send to council for the work to be done at the police station regarding the electric and heating and cooling systems.
Second.
Anything else, Rick?
Hang on, David,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Cheryl,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I do not think there's anything else at this time.
Lockers?
No,
Or
the
we put
locker
this on
room,
hold for-
yeah, that's gonna be put on hold
It'll be
until,
bought with ARPA.
so that was gonna be phase 2 of the police department,
Oh,
which
okay.
we were gonna do in the future. We thought the ARPA funds were available, but obviously it needs to go to the sewer plant, so.
I just think we should look into a little bit cheaper
Better
option. I mean,
price.
that's,
Yeah,
I
so
understand the security of it.
that's not what the reason we were doing it, we had the ARPA funds
Right.
and the lockers were covered under that because of the paint.
Right.
I can get cheaper lockers.
Yeah.
And I can do it in a different way.
Right.
We were looking at it like that was free money
Hey,
before we didn't know we could
Use it or lose it.
Mhm.
for
Right.
anything else.
Yeah, right,
Right.
I think that's what we were
So
trying to
I'm all
do.
for, we
Yeah.
can make it work. I'll look into it and we got the plans drawn up, we'll make something.
And the bathrooms are going forward?
No,
No. Was that? I forgot.
that was a
That was
part of
right.
that phase as
Oh,
well.
okay.
We're allowed to keep the restrooms the way they were
Okay,
because there's no public access.
gotcha.
So the shower and stuff, I'll just phase in. If there's something left when we do this camera thing that I can use to put towards the locker room.
Okay.
The only question I have for you, I talked to you about this last week or whatever, just if we could get more presence out with the yard clippings out into the road. Just try and make them aware first, obviously, that we can't have that and then move on from there, but I
They
noticed
don't
today
care.
driving around that there was a lot. I know it's a double-edged sword, we asked them to mow grass and then when they blow it in the road, it's tough, but at the same time,
I've
we
been
need the grass mowed and
stopping,
we need it out of the road.
I've been stopping and talking to everybody I see, and I've advised Chris to do the same when he's here during the day, so afternoon, if they're driving around, I got it on the board over there.
Yeah, if we could just make them more aware
And I got
Appreciate it.
extra patrol for that area that is, so.
I see your
Thank you.
neighbors behind you mowed your yard, or did somebody else do it?
I don't know who did, but the yards they are getting mowed and they're looking much better, so.
Well, it looked a lot better.
It is
I know
nice
you
to-
were griping about it, and I don't blame you about that.
Yeah, I mean, snakes and mice and everything else coming in your
Yeah,
yard,
that's not.
Oh, yeah.
it gets frustrating, but
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
thank you, Ryan, for getting those letters put together.
Thanks for helping.
So, we handed those out on Friday for the high grass. He mailed them, and then the ones that live in the village, we handed them out. So,
Alright.
Yeah, I'm not real popular right now.
I'm not either.
When
but
does Jake start,
Ordinance is an ordinance.
does he started
This
cutting?
week.
Yep.
It'll be this week. We'll start with the dollar store and letters.
Anything else, Rick?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Okay, so, Ms. Mosley? No. Okay, so we got some good cleanups going on. You guys kind of take note while you're out running around out there. Had a gentleman on Wolf Road calls for a while there. He had some old tractors, different things in his backyard. He's staying in touch with me, keeping me posted. They're like 90% cleaned up. I had an old car down here on East Center. I think it's East Center. It had no windows. You guys probably remember the corner. Well, nevertheless, had no windows, tires, and the gentleman we connected, nice guy, he scrapped that, that's gone. The old Brugmans, connected with the guy who had all those car haulers and you name it in there. All of that is gone. We're down to one RV and I'm not sure who owns that. We're working on that. We're getting it cleaned up. And the guy behind the plaza, finally connected with him. Him and I have a agreement before the Memorial Parade. He'll have that red truck and I think he has a Jeep back there and he'll be gone. So I see progress there. And then there was, and Ryan, down here at the old Mulhern's Hardware, connected with that guy yesterday to come out. Mac, we went through there and you need to do some weed whipping cleanup. He's already been there and weed whipped, and he's coming back to clean, and the same thing, and ask him to have everything good before Memorial Parade. And also ask him what his intentions is with that building, and he said he's hoping to have it all cleaned out by the end of the year, and yes, he does want to lease it, so maybe we can get something happening up in there.
Isn't that just a storage unit though?
I don't know what he's doing in there, I don't care, but I'm just making sure it's presentable before the parade. So that's happening, and then I also met in the projects yesterday. There's a guy who owns like 3 lots he had bought, and he's planning to put 2 homes in there. And then there's another guy, Mike Penn, you probably know the contractor, he's got a home. So we got like 3 new homes coming inside the
projects, and I believe NDS is putting in 4, so there's a lot of new homes getting ready to go up inside there.
Good,
So that's progress and good things, so,
absolutely.
and that's about it.
Are the NDS homes gonna be like the other ones that we currently have that don't, have a fair evaluation on them? So we have many of the NDS homes that were built in the early 2000s that are undervalued. I don't know if it's because it's a government program or
I
what.
don't know, that's a good question.
It is why.
They get,
Is that why?
It is
they
why
get
they're-
40%.
Okay,
Yeah,
so are
they're
the
not
new,
allowed
the
to
4 new
sell.
ones gonna be the same way?
That's a good
Probably.
question.
Because
I
I
would
think we should
lean
try and
towards
limit
saying
that
that. Yeah,
because
that
it's
makes
hurting
sense.
our village
Yeah,
with
sure.
income tax.
Sure.
The thing is, if we do it, they need to stick with the contract. Like,
Right.
those houses should have been sold a long time ago.
Mhm.
They should have been switched over, and they're still renting some of them out.
Most of them, like I
Yeah.
think, like, and I don't wanna throw a number out, but a very high percentage if you
Yeah,
look on
there's
the
still a
auditor's
lot
website are.
that's
A lot of
being
them were
rented.
like land contract type thing,
Well, that's how it was supposed to be. The person that lived, that was my understanding. I could
Right.
be wrong, but the person that lived
5
there.
years, you're gonna own it.
Right.
But the problem was, then they didn't stay with the agreement. 3 years later, they leave,
Somebody else moves in and starts
and
over.
then they just rent it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's what they've been doing this whole time.
that's hurting our village with income tax.
Because they can't have a value of 170 like
Right.
normal homes are, you know.
So the rumor has it, the homes that NDS has put in, they're like $160,000 homes, that's what I was.
Well, that's fine,
That's
but,
the going market though for
Yeah.
the house.
but what I'm saying is there's
it's different,
homes
right?
that are owned by them still, that were built in 2000,
Oh,
that
okay.
should be valued over like 120, 150,
Oh, I
They're
gotcha.
not.
that are at 40,000,
Oh, goodness.
and that hurts our village.
Oh, yeah,
Big
okay.
time.
And I just think that every house that they put in, they should have to honor that, like, in
Yes.
those 5 years, get rid of it.
So how do we get the auditor to change that?
Well, it's not the auditor,
It's not
it's
the
the.
It's have the agreement with NDS.
Right.
We have that
Um,
conversation with them.
Well, is it true that that one unit on, one way is gonna be tore down because it's sinking, or is that just?
She's gonna try to reinforce it with the steel beam underneath the building is what I was told by her. So, I had just real quick, I had an interesting conversation with Windy Oaks, which is Zach Richards. He's been looking to try to sell his properties and has had an issue and wants to try to keep things in Windham and is willing to try to rebuild, tear down and rebuild those buildings in its place. A bigger, better, more expensive thing. But he wants to get with us to find out what incentives we can give him to do that. And I think that might be, we have a lot of stakeholders with these old buildings that might be willing to do something.
More rental income.
And I think that you absolutely should probably sit down with them and talk with them, because building back what you currently have keeps the residency up. You put one home where there was 6 apartments and
Right.
you are
Right.
not doing what is good. So I had told him that I would get with whoever needed to be in that meeting and to get with Nicole Feller and whoever owns the Strasbourg properties and try to get some kind of agreement made with them so they quit selling them, not fixing them, and we keep in this same rut where maybe they'll take and rent 4 buildings and build a new building while they're doing that, and we give them the time to do it. But in the end, we get new buildings put up instead of having the same stuff there 5 or 10 years from now. He seemed really interested in doing something like that. And on the same note, I did get a call, and I've gotten a couple complaints on the Old Howard property,
Yeah.
Spencer. They wanna know why nothing's moving in there and why the house is still standing.
Yeah,
And that's something that we've had to address for a while.
that guy's never come one time
I
and does
found
nothing.
documents on that, and it looks like he didn't have to tear that down.
No, he did not, I saw.
There's no, it's not, he
No,
had
the
it-
village gave him
Yes.
permission to redo it, but he had a time frame, and then
Oh.
He was
Tom
supposed
Brett-
to come to
Yeah.
bi-weekly
He
or
was
bi-monthly
voted
yeah,
meetings.
that That was under Tom Brett.
He was
and then-
supposed to
Yeah.
show
I
progress,
found-
and he hasn't, so it would, initially,
Lucas.
He sent us a letter of all the stuff that he did do
Right,
to the property. He's got a
Yeah,
whole
we
list,
had a whole bunch of,
right?
Inside?
It must be, a lot of it must be
Yeah.
inside, cause it doesn't show a whole lot
Yeah,
outside.
no, he said he
They
gutted,
cut.
he totally gutted the whole inside.
Oh, he
We
did?
just,
Right.
we was looking over, we was trying to find something on it.
I
right,
would go out and look, cause the only thing I know that he's done is put a roof on it.
But the problem is, we can't find nothing in there on what was agreed upon for the village.
He had.
There was
there
something
is.
that
There
we,
was, but we got, we
we
couldn't
had
find
something
it.
in one of our meetings that we actually,
I
Yeah.
gave it to Nick.
Yes.
I found it in the
He might
minutes.
have took it with him because we
No,
can't.
Nick knew
I
that
know,
that
I
guy
guess
was
Yeah,
that
but
supposed to
Nick's
be.
not here no more.
We
so-
don't
No,
have.
and it's in the
boards.
minutes.
It was in the
He had
minutes.
till August to do something and was supposed to come back and never showed up.
He was
Right.
supposed to give us updates
Yeah,
every
me and-
3
me
to 4
and,
months on what
Me
he's
and Chris
doing.
went through there trying to find something, cause I heard that there was a deal, and,
February of 22,
Yeah, I went
I
through
think
it.
it was.
that letter and everything, yeah.
yeah, I read it, yeah.
It looks like he's trying, though.
The
We
letter
need to
should
go
have
in
been
and
from Tom
see.
Brett.
Yeah, probably, this is over here.
That was from, that's where he,
There's tons of stuff in here. This was from Nick, certified letters and.
Is there a copy of the minutes in there that I gave him?
no,
Well, this
Nick
was,
never-
this was April 22nd, the village council met and you spoke about, since you had purchased the property, some renovations were completed, but much more needed to be done. This is what, Nick wrote to him, okay, in 22. Again, there's a lot of stuff here. And then here he's writing in 22, April. Avoiding conflict between the village, well, you know what, there's a whole folder here, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But it looks like he's been doing stuff, cause this is the last letter I got, and this was October 23.
okay, you might want to go in
Uh-huh,
and see
she,
if he's done anything inside.
oh, you want me to go inside the house?
I
Well,
would
you gotta do
Take
it
somebody with you.
appropriately.
Yeah, I would take a representative from the police
Want me
department.
to just go knocking?
So there was,
you would have to say.
I was present for it, there was an agreement made where he had put a roof on, he had done a few things that weren't complying with the order that was in place, so they gave him a time frame that he was supposed to come back with an update on what he had done, which was August of 23, I believe, and,
That's
or
what this is,
22.
yeah.
and there was nothing done
Oh,
outside of what he had already done.
okay, cause this is what he's done, this is the last letter.
So Dion, who lives next door, has been keeping track of it quite regularly.
Yep,
I know,
And
we've had several conversations.
I'm getting
Right,
complaints from him and other residents that nothing has moved since then. The outbuildings were supposed to be torn down, they haven't been torn down. So there's a lot of things that was supposed to have been done that haven't been done. And I don't know how to address that issue, cause I'm getting the calls now. I know it's a zoning issue, but it's gonna end up becoming a police issue when they start beating each other up. So,
But he was supposed to.
yes, and that's why I wanna avoid is any litigation on our part, because we said he had a time frame.
yeah, and then COVID hit and
You
his
think
wife
that was
got
August?
cancer and all of that, so.
It was August of 22.
With the way that it.
So we should be about 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, I called him the other day, cause I was.
are we,
trying-
are we ready to move on? Are we still having a dialogue on this? We can do side conversation afterwards if
Yes.
you all wanna get out of here, cause it's
Yes.
getting late. No, Chris, anything else?
no, I'm good.
No Demel. Ryan, you have anything?
Yes, Rob is doing our, my mind just went blank.
For the street,
Yeah,
doing the engineering stuff?
yeah, the engineers trying to get us the grant for the roads. We're gonna try and get Maple Circle, Oak Circle, Wilburn, Spur, Wilburn Circle, Linden Circle, Cloverleaf, Green Meadow, Bright, Belden, Reach, whatever we can get done. So OPWC,
Now, is that paved or?
yes.
There's
And,
Well, Woburn Circle is terrible,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
approach.
all the circles up there need done, I don't know when the last time they were done, but they really need done, and the 2 one-ways over here haven't been done since I don't know when, and they really need done, so. He's coming up the 24th, that's gotta be in by the end of the month. He doesn't see an issue with doing it, he just needed to know what roads, I sent that to him, a few weeks ago.
Would that be this year or next year?
Yes,
This year?
yeah, it should be around October, or the end of the year.
Okay, so I would say if we can't get something for Woburn, I think we should have our labor come out and fix the
Yeah.
approach to the circle,
Yeah,
cause that's not fair to the residents.
well, I'm gonna have hard labor come out and fix Bright for now,
Okay,
just that
yeah,
one patch.
that's terrible too.
And, either way, I mean, because he's a little cheaper and he wants a little bit more, I might have him just come out and build that up for, I mean, because it's still gonna be there for, several months, so.
Yeah, Woburn, yeah, if we can do something for those residents living in there, I think we should.
I'll make sure that that is for this year, but it is my understanding that's for this year. That's for this year coming, but I will definitely find out, cause like I said, Rob will be up here the 24th. So that's in the works, we're working on, water line, we're working on the filters. The property, 9053 Maple Grove is, we're getting it back. The gentleman called me the other day and he wanted to know if he could just pass it off to his buddy. Cause he's not gonna build on it now. So I told him we'd just buy it back, and if his buddy wanted it, we'll resell it to him, that way
We have a
we could
contract.
update our contract saying, hey, you can't sell it, you gotta build on it, you know what I mean? So he's like, great, perfect, I got a hold of, the mortgage company, the title company that we use, the Susan. I called her, she sent me a, intent to sell application, so I'll fill that out. I'll give it to Charles, it was $2,600, we'll buy it back. We already have a buyer for it, potentially, and we'll review the contract and sell it back, so that's one.
On that, do we have a list of who bought what and when their contracts are expiring?
I gotta give it to you.
I'm sure we have some.
Okay.
Because we don't have nothing lined up like that, we just have what was sold and.
We don't have it on an Excel sheet or something to keep track.
I wish, it would make my job so much easier, but I need a computer with Excel, I got one at home, but that don't do me no good.
You don't have Microsoft Office here?
No,
I think that's something the village
Yeah.
administrators should take
yeah,
care of.
it's a pain, I've been
Yeah.
using a little bit,
No. You use a
Elizabeth's
notepad?
computer if I have to do something, but
Oh my.
maybe homeboy can get one.
I think
I was
there's.
gonna say, we need to
That's
see
what I was
if,
thinking, yeah, he said he's got
I
some.
think Chris has Microsoft that we bought for Nick.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we have that is.
Well, I'd love to have it,
What's that?
No, she does not.
You don't have Microsoft on that system either?
Yeah, I think I do.
Not a disc.
Oh,
we
It
buy
was,
it.
it was
just buy
like
it
a
online.
monthly
Just regular
subscription that
Yeah,
was
that's
bought
right.
so he could do what he needed to do.
so.
So can we
Everything's
get that
Google.
taken care of? Cause that's under your purchase limits.
Yeah,
I think that, yeah.
it'd be nice.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
So, that I have been really stressing the thing about like getting this place cleaned up, the village. I mean, just because, I feel like just because we are the poorest community in Portage County, we don't have to look like it or act like it. And I'm not saying that we do, I'm just saying that I'm on a mission to get it, like, I want it to look really nice. We got new flags, and they're a little bit bigger, I think they're gonna pop a little bit, new flowers.
flowers.
And I am so big on our parks, our offices and our community center, I think above everything. Like I passed out 52, not I, we did, 52 42 grass letters, and I think that our standards have got to be higher than the guys we're sending their letters out to. You know, like if I wanna send a letter out, ours should be tip top. And so I am really, really like gonna be a stickler on that this year. And, you know, like people coming to town play on our fields, they should be tip top. I mean, the town should be tip top, so,
By that park, it was happening today,
yeah,
a lot of games going on.
yep. Today there was,
Crestwood.
Yeah, and it,
oh man, so,
yeah.
that's where we're at, that's,
Yeah, the park was full when I was pulling,
Oh,
and that's not,
that's where everybody's at.
so, that's all I got, that's for now.
in regards to the parks, I'm gonna reach out to a couple of different places and see if we can get some lumber donated to upgrade our dugouts. They're in pretty poor condition in my opinion, and I think the kids in the village deserves better. So I'm gonna see what I can do. I forgot to bring it up in Parks and Rec, but I'm gonna see what I can do to get some lumber donated maybe, and donate time to try and upgrade those, cause they're falling apart,
That's a great idea.
so.
Who's responsible for the maintenance on the dugouts though? Cause I know like over in Garrettsville, it's our softball, baseball league that is, and they sell like advertising spots to advertise on the dugout for 3 years, and that's how they maintain their dugouts.
So is it the association, or, cause I know
Yes.
Sam said
The Hot Stove Association.
he was actually putting a new roof on a couple of them.
Well, I don't know about here in
Right.
Windham, I just
No,
know
no,
in
I'm
Garrettsville,
in
that's
Garrettsville.
what they do. So,
Okay.
It's a good
I
idea.
didn't
Yeah.
know if we were maintain them, or if you're a hot stove.
That's a good question, I'm
If
not
they-
100% sure.
We own
maintain
it,
them?
we own it, they take donations because, you talking about the
Dugouts,
dugouts, yes. We own it.
right, well,
Ours,
they
but
own it here, it's going to.
They get, right now, the hot stove did really good this year. I talked to Adam, and he's the treasurer for the hot stove this year. He is gonna help us with these trees. They're gonna put on bingoes to help Mr. Turner get these trees down. We're gonna do a,
Yeah, but who's responsible for maintenance of the
Maintaining
actual
them.
dugout?
technically, we are.
Okay,
Technically, we are. It's, they help out a lot. Hot stove really takes the bulls by the horn. and
yeah, they do the field and everything
Yeah,
else. But,
yeah, but technically, that's on us.
so in regards to
Maybe
that,
that's something we could consider then, is
Yeah.
try and do something similar. It'll
Yeah,
offset
or
the
let
cost.
them,
It's a good idea.
we could talk to Hot Stove, if they're doing that good, they could do a fundraiser to, get new dugouts and, because like he said, they did all that all year.
Mhm.
And he told me that there was they have $40,000 in Hot Stove.
Yeah, I knew that they was
Wow.
starting to get quite a bit of money in there, but I
Well,
mean,
that
I do like your
dugout thing did
recommendation.
Really good for us, like they sold out, so.
Did you hear what she said, Ryan? That they're basically putting a,
They put so a business can
Yeah,
buy a
business.
slot on the dugout and advertise for 3 years. It was like $600 or $700 per business. Your
Is that
guys'
what Dan was
Cerna
doing in
High
did
Garrettsville?
schools
it,
do
and
that,
yeah,
Is that what Dan was doing in Garrettsville?
I don't know who it is, I
Would've
just know
been
it's a
a football.
softball league.
Field now, they have all those advertising,
Yeah.
and they pay to
Yeah.
put those big,
yeah,
It
I
did
think
really well.
we need to
I'm
do
gonna
something
do it
though,
next
because
year, yeah.
I grabbed the one and you can pretty much just
Rip it
move,
down.
yeah, you can pull the whole back of the bench off.
Mm.
And it's just full of screws and nails from where they tried to repair it over the years, and that's not good for our kids.
no,
Like,
not at all.
you just said Kristen and everybody else is here today. How's that looking for our village? That we can't even keep our park up to standard. It just reflects on us poorly, I think. So I'd like to try and get that cleaned
I
up.
will
for
just
those
tell you,
kids.
the last 3 years, that park is booming.
Yeah,
It is,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely, I can,
I know the
my whole
asphalt
wall team,
definitely
that was
is bad.
fantastic.
it's nice having the pavement too.
It is so nice to see that.
So.
Alright, now Brian, anything else? Alright, council and guests, last chance.
Brian, I talked to Tony Masters about the plastic bag in the
Yeah,
boxes
yeah.
there. He doesn't have room right now, so, cause his garage is full, And he said he'd let me know when you can take some of them out there. You know where he lives, out on 303? Okay.
No, but when he's ready, you can just give me
Yeah,
the address,
yeah.
whatever.
I only have one thing that I'd like to bring up in here is, when we get our emails from you, Katrina, could we send a separate email every time? Like, you like reply, like to piggyback off, and
Because it keeps it all in one spot and condensed, so you're not looking for individual emails.
so the way I have
So
it
you're
on,
looking at one thread.
it just makes it confusing for me on the way the thread goes down, and I'm trying to remember which one was updated, which one was not updated. Cause like at the top, if you have one that's updated or not updated, then you send another one, then I'm trying to scroll through. On my phone, I have it set up to where it alerts me every time you send an email. So, I don't know, it would just be easier for me if it was separate emails for everything, and I'm not trying to read through the chain and that's decipher whatever, what's going on. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter to me either way, I don't, it doesn't,
I'm okay
but-
with it in one spot. Now that I realize that that's how it is, I'm okay with that, but, you know,
I
I
personally,
get it, yeah. Memorial Day, we're not gonna meet again before Memorial Day. Everything's set with the parade, Mac's not here to talk about it.
Yes, everything's up with the parade.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the Legion that handles that, right?
okay.
Firemen will be there.
Yeah.
I did see that tree stump was gone out of the cemetery and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've been
Mac was
working on
talking
that.
about, so they got that all fixed up.
That's the other thing, can we get
Township.
stump grinder in here to do our village stumps? We talked about it before. I don't think it would cost that much, whether we do it ourselves or whatever, but I think we should get those stumps taken care of that were cut down 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In the park.
stumps are expensive, they're like $2,000.
Alright, 8:41, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, committee of the whole.
I'll say.
Scott,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Cheryl, Terry,
Yes.
Marilyn,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
we adjourned at 8:41.
Is that nice of you?